All right, Board, we've got an agenda in front of us. If everybody's had a chance to review it, are there any changes, or I'll take a motion to approve it as written?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 5-0. All right, we will be discussing Ampliform Solar. So I have to read a statement of disclosure of conflict. This is to the Nottoway County Board of Supervisors from William J. Collins III. This is a declaration of interest with respect to the Rocky Ford Solar Project. This declaration is made with respect to the transaction in which a supervisor of the County Board of Supervisors has a personal interest in a transaction involving the county and the applicable exception which permits said supervisor's participation. The Virginia State and Local Government Conflict of Interest Acts, in accordance with Section 2.2-3112B1, requires this disclosure to be recorded in the county records in any case in which I have a personal interest in a transaction, but my participation is permissible. Therefore, I make the following disclosure. The transaction involved is pursuant to Virginia Code 58.1-2636. The Board of Supervisors and Ampliform Rocky Ford LLC are negotiating a siting agreement for a solar project facility. An application for a special exception permit by Northwest Rocky Ford LLC for a solar facility within Nottoway County, Virginia. My personal interest affected by this transaction is as follows. The above referenced transaction by the Board of Supervisors will involve the approval of a special exception permit for the construction of a solar facility project with Nottoway County. My employer, Citizens Bank and Trust, holds deeds of trust on several parcels that are being considered as part of the solar application. However, in accordance with Section 2.2-311B1, because the application includes a group of 3 or more persons affected by the transaction, including multiple landowners, participation is permitted upon this declaration. I will be able to participate in the transaction fairly, objectively, and in the furtherance of the public interest.
Many more times than that, you'll be able to memorize the whole thing.
That's right. Short rows. Okay, Administrator Bowen, item D, school obligation letter, train contract.
Mr. Chairman, board members, I've had a meeting with, and Dr. Martin is here in the audience as well as our financial director. I think she's got a different title than that, it's Heather Meyer. But we had a meeting with Train. I'm asking, they're still in the hunt for that reimbursement grant. And the letter of obligation is in your package. Train does not have the contract yet, but I'm asking authorization for the chairman to sign that letter of obligation, and I'm also asking this board to give me permission to sign the contract with Train after our legal team looks at it. But the timing here is, it looks like we're pushing a lot of things at the last minute, but there's a reason behind that. The Train has to get in that school in June 10th, and they got until August 10th to get the AC working, and then they're going to start working on heat as well, because those kids, when they come back to school, are going to have some AC. So maybe if anything needs to be clarified with Dr. Barton, I'm sure she'd be welcome to talk to her.
We discussed this at the last meeting. I think everybody's aware of it.
Right.
So, any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
At the last regular board meeting, we had Mr. French here that sought out estimates for the roundabout at Pickett, and only one was submitted, and they denied it. I feel like that $4.5 million to put into a school that would potentially have to be replaced within 10 to 14 years is mostly money thrown down the pipe. So I know the severity of them children needing what they need. They got to have air, and y'all are tired of cleaning up floods in the hallways and in the classrooms. But I think it could be done cheaper, especially put out on a bid process rather than the manufacturer being the only person that has showed any interest. That's my opinion. I digress.
Well, with the also with the with this being the taxpayers' money, aren't we required through procurement process to get those bids?
Dr. Martin, would you like to come up?
I'd rather not speak to that, please.
Sure. Come on up. Ms. Meyer also.
So for clarification on that, we're in a cooperative purchasing agreement with Train, and also part of the Train is involved in our EERE grant, which means that cost would actually be astronomically higher because we would have to pull out all the work that they've already done within the building to go through the process again. So we are within our requirements to move forward with Train as the vendor on this because of, one, they are already part of the EERE grant, which is tied to federal funds. And the stuff that they've already done in there has to be documented every year for the next 5 years that it's in there and that we have it in our possession and all of those things. And part of the control panel is in the
Part of the control system is in the the Department of Energy grant, as well as the gym HVAC unit is in the Department of Energy grant. The boiler that was just installed was part of that. That boiler has to be reused with this new HVAC system. It cannot be pulled out. If we pull it out, we have to pay the federal government money back.
So basically, they really know that they was gonna get the contract, whether it was 2 million or 6 million, you gotta go with them, right?
No, I mean, originally the plan was to eventually start replacing these water source heat pumps one at a time.
You mean
and
them doing it?
No, not necessarily them doing it. Because originally, the only thing that was gonna be happening was the gym units, the boiler, and the control panel. Well, because we're only partway through that contract, to be able to pull everything out, is a little bit more difficult.
So
The
there's
control
an
system-
existing contract and there's federal grant funds that are part of that contract.
Correct, and only part of the control system has been implemented, the rest would have been implemented with this second budget period, which hopefully we will have the contract move forward with that by the end of April. So it's hard because we've already got HVAC project planned with them for crew primary that were apart from this. And believe, this was actually not on their top of list HVAC systems to replace for the school division. They had actually placed the HVAC systems at the middle school and the intermediate school as a higher priority than crew primary until all of this started happening, and then this is where we're at.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask one question, do y'all have a time frame from anyone where that school should be replaced? Serious remodel or replaced?
We do not. So I will say today, well, yesterday and today, I participated in a facilities condition assessment paid for by the state for the complex. They received a federal grant, and we were one of the schools that they opted to do. So my maintenance supervisor and I just underwent a whole bunch of training so that we can perform the same assessment at the other two schools. I will say that the cost of replacing the school, I mean, you're looking at probably $50 million.
It'd be 54 million, because you spend 4.5 on this, so it'd be 54 million and a half. That's why I hate to see us hang a gate on a rotten fence post.
Well, their words to me today, just in regards to everything, they're very much understanding that rural school divisions do not have the ability to necessarily just replace a school. You know, even at the intermediate school, it has good bones, it's got good structure. It needs a lot of renovation, but it is possible to renovate as is instead of having to, you know, bulldoze and start over. It being our oldest school, we have the same capacity at every other school to do major remodels without having to just bulldoze and start over.
So we can do
The other
that?
caveat of,
We can renovate things?
we can renovate things.
Wow. Okay.
But, you know, the other caveat of crew primary is you've got a gym that was only put in 2010. I'd hate to just, you know, do away with that when we've already mitigated every other issue we've had. We've mitigated all the drainage issues. The last one that we need to take care of is gonna happen in June. The one little structural thing that we has had no more issues, so the fix that we did with that is solid.
That foundation you're speaking of.
Yes, and that's had no more movement.
So to move this thing forward, if I may ask, and I did interrupt you, but not meaning to interrupt you, but that's kind of a oxymoron, I guess. But should the county now and the school system now begin a process of a timeline together for the renovation of that school, so this ain't dropped on the next board or two, 10 years down the road with another major tax increase on the people?
So I could tell you, This is an immediate need right now.
Right, yeah, I'm talking about beyond this,
We
beyond
were
this.
waiting until we finished these, it's called a SASI, the SASI audit on the other schools,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can move forward with a comprehensive plan, because that does need to be done for the school division and
Right.
what we need and where we need to go, but
So
we
that'd be a
wanted-
capital improvements would be
Capital
part of that.
improvement, yes. And so, but we did not want to do that until after this is complete, after we had all the ADA items back, so that we're able to prioritize the needs. And that plan would have community members on it, representatives to discuss what is the future and where does the school division go. So that is next on our list, but we want to make sure we have all of the pieces there to make sure it's a well-informed plan as we move forward. And it may be that it's a different school that's got a major need in it too. I can tell you with this project, if we don't have a contract signed, really by tomorrow, we have 42 days from the start to the finish of this project to get air in and back up. And that is a very tight, and I believe, Mr. Bowen, did you give them or you have the presentation that
Yeah,
I sent you with the timeline?
it's gonna be, yeah, it's what's gonna be in your package.
It's, okay, it's an extremely tight window, and they're gonna
Right.
be the only ones that can get in there because we already have pieces in place already. And you said the 10th, but they actually would start on the 5th of June, which
Okay.
is the day after kids get out, to start the initial outside pieces. And they are telling us that, they hope not August 10th, we're hoping at least a week before, because we've got to move everything back in, because we've also got to move all of our technology out, because the building will have no AC at all during the hottest time of the year. So this is not the most ideal time to do this type of project too, with the temperatures outside, but it has to be done in order for us to have air in the building. And once that's stabilized, then they will go back through with the next pieces of it for us to have heat. Now, the way things sometimes work, I am praying that it's not 30 degrees in September and we need heat as the opposite, that we actually need the air.
So is there an expense in addition to this for moving that stuff out, or is that expense
our-
included in this
No,
for what
all
happened?
moving all that stuff is gonna be all internal on our school teams to do. So the
But I'm-
technology team already knows what we've got to move. It's
But I
the
mean, they're
main
gonna be
thing.
paid to do it, right?
They'll have to do it during their hours and working hours to start getting things out and moved. A lot of stuff we won't have to. Technology is the biggest concern because of the high temperatures that will be in the building, and we can't leave Chromebooks and carts and stuff up in there.
And they are looking for, Train is looking for a mobilization fee to get, because they gotta start bringing in stuff, and they gotta order stuff, and that's another problem.
The 6 to 8 week lead time
Right.
on the order.
And I will say, the solution that we went with was not the most expensive.
We appreciate that.
So I will say that, we could have gone with the IntelliPacks, which is close to what the high school has. That would have been, one, a much longer lead time, but would have been almost another $1 million more expensive. Replacing in kind with the water source heat pumps, we could have also done that. However, that wasn't necessarily feasible either, just because it's not safe to work up in that attic space for anybody for long periods of time, because we've actually tested it up there. One of the beams up there in the heat of the summer can get up to 155 degrees. So regardless of who's up there, they have to take breaks every so often. I mean, it's a risk even for our people to have to be up there servicing these. So that was one reason why we didn't want to go back with the water source heat pumps. We wanted to take away that safety factor. Not to mention, replacing those one by one is actually a much longer process because there's 35 units. This particular solution is just, it's 4 units for the building. They go outside, they're easier to service, a lot less lead time, and they were the more practical solution to be able to fit such a tight timeline. Because I mean, I have 5 days to go in there and strip and wax floors and get them cured before they turn air off. I mean, it's a tight window for a lot of different things. But it needs to be done. I mean, we just had 3 more leaks the other week. It's continuing to keep building. And
No, Mr. Ingram had a question.
Yeah, I see y'all are applying for a grant, I guess, from the Virginia Department of Education. But according to what I've seen, y'all have received almost $18 million in grants from the federal government. Now, where is that money going?
So the grants that you're talking about would be.
It was almost 12 million in over $6 million grant.
Right, so the grants that you're talking about are is mainly the ARPA funds, grants that we had, the COVID funds grants. And they did not have, the pieces in it for HVAC replacement. They may have had some pieces or components like ionization units during that time period to enhance the, air quality in our buildings. They did go to a boiler or cooling unit at one of the schools, but one of the big pieces about the federal grant and putting it in there, the last one in particular had to be used to close learning gaps, and a particular amount of that money had to be funded for those needs. The other part of the COVID funding grants was that it was supposed to allow the school system to be operational too, and some of that money was used to ensure that if we needed operational costs at that time, to ensure that we could still pay our staff. Those type of things were included in there. There were positions in there that were funded for the needs. Those grants did not cover necessarily HVAC units and things like that. There were portable AC units in there at one time that we had to bring in to help with cooling in a school building. The other thing that comes into those federal grants are the Davis Wage-Bacon Act and having to meet all of those wage requirements with it. So we did not use our grants for that because of some of these issues too. And also anything that you did with construction or infrastructure, it's the documentation process and that you have to ensure that that site is going to be available and ready for the next so many years as a safe place. Every year we have to file an annual report on.
And how many are those years? That would help help answer Supervisor Roach's question. How many years is it?
For what?
You said you had to go in it.
We just finished, I think we have to fill the last one out in 2030, I think, is the last report for the.
Oh, so it's short time, okay,
Let me ask
The
you,
stuff that we had in it.
okay.
because you said that some of that grant money was used to pay salaries.
It is,
The salaries that this board was approving and paying for?
No,
you don't approve our.
You talk about the grant.
The grant paid salaries.
the grant paid some positions.
But we give y'all money to pay salaries, correct?
These
This
were
is
salaries in
added
addition.
additional position, nurses in our building during this time, because we do not have nurses in all the buildings. They were added, instructional assistants that were added in our buildings. There were custodial staff that were added in our buildings, because during COVID, we had that high level of cleanliness that we had to do. Materials and supplies, there were personal protective equipment, PPE stuff that was in there that we had to do. There was hotspots for students so that we could have internet access, computers for one-to-one initiatives, and things like that in there as well.
All right, are those people still on the payroll?
We have had to move some of those people where we could into the general budget each year.
But not all of them.
Not all of
Some
them. We had to let people go.
Some of the custodial positions were not able to be carried into the regular budget.
I have a question. As far as you mentioned air quality and the water source heat pumps, and when you had the rupture of the water lines and everything, have you had the air quality tested for mold?
That will actually be done prior to the start off of this project. It'll be done before and it'll be done after. And all the ductwork, because some of it will be reused in order to keep the cost down, will be cleaned. So we are testing it before and after, which will also meet our IAQ requirements that are now part of state code.
I'm just concerned about the mold quality, the mold count with children
There's a
in
lot
there.
of things we can't see because it's a cinder block building, and if it gets inside the cinder, you can't see that. So it is something that will be tested before and after to see, one, we want to know where we start, we also want to know where we end up at.
And just as a reminder, that is now a new requirement for Virginia schools, is the indoor air quality testing. It was an unfunded mandate from the state, and we have time periods where we have to do each of the schools. And so this will meet the obligation on that school as well.
Well, and I don't want y'all to feel like y'all have to come up here and beg and plead for us to do what's the best for the students, because everybody has that same goal in mind. But, and Dickie, I will say this, I guarantee you I'll probably spend $1 million in Lysol during that time, but, because you're required to. But with this moving forward, pretty much we have no option but this. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, if we don't do this, we just won't have air in the building, or we'll have water leaks.
And how long has it been like, this? Didn't y'all get through a couple of years?
It's been like this for probably the past 14 months.
14 months.
It's gotten really bad, and we will not have heat we already know that we will not have heat. They brought in a temporary unit for us this year, and that was not able to service the building the way that it needed to be. That was kind of a Band-Aid to the process, so we have to do something to have heat.
Going back to the $18 million worth of grants, did y'all use all of it?
So we still have, not
But
with
you're in
the ARPA money.
so we got several grants that are all being lumped together. So any money that came out of COVID, which was CARES 1, CRRSA, there were buses that were put in there for social distancing and stuff. All of the COVID money has been spent and is accounted for, and the reports have been done on all of those funding. The other pot of money that you're lumping into this is the EERE grant, which is the grant that happens in stages or phases per se, and there are 2 phases for that. We have done the first phase. The general first phase is like the planning stuff, and then we've done the first phase, which did the lighting at the complex, the energy-saving lighting things, and those type of things, the doors at the complex. Then the other piece of that money is the piece that we are still waiting on, though we have finally had movement.
You talked
on
about
it.
that it had not left.
That we're waiting on for the second piece, which takes care of some of the roofs at some of the buildings that need to be fixed, where we have leaks in other buildings.
Mr.
So
Chairman.
we've got a group of money that's all being lumped together.
Mr. Chairman, I was going to say, if, unless there's any further discussion, I'd go ahead and move that.
I want to ask one more question, if you won't mind. My understanding, when I looked at these grants, both of them are from the Department of Energy, is that correct?
We only have 1 grant from the Department of Energy.
What was the almost $12 million? I thought that was,
That's
That's the Department of Energy grant.
well, so this other one, that I read some pieces of it, it seemed to mention things like air conditioning and that type of thing.
That's the CARES 3 grant, and I believe, Mr. Bowen, you asked me to give some clarification to
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
I sent you some written documentation,
Yeah,
emailed
maybe
you
I
some.
didn't get that to you. I can't remember where that is right now, Dickie. I have to look at that.
You had asked me to explain
Right.
exactly what was in it and what was covered in that, so
Oh.
that would be the other $6 million. That was the last piece of our funding source.
Right.
10% of that had to be spent on improvement. You can only spend 20% on infrastructural cost or anything with that.
Which part of that went to the high school HVAC project, because there again, they were in a situation where we would have started school with no HVAC had we not used part of
that
that.
funding.
I'll just ask for just a repetition. So we know we're looking at $4.5 million, and the new grant window opens up July 1st.
We're anticipating it opens up June. I mean,
June.
we'll be ready to apply.
And you're going to apply for how much?
We can only apply for 30% of the total cost of the project,
Okay.
Which was one,
which 1.3 million
1.3.
roughly.
and so but with Davenport, I had to go and ask for 4.5 because I couldn't count on the grant. I can't.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? I couldn't.
I just wanted that.
We are good candidates to receive the grant. Some of the things in there, they do a point quality. We do know that, I believe the state has said they would help if there were anything to make
Yes.
sure we felt that our points were the right things. One of the other provisions is if the school division has ever received it before, we have never received the school construction, so that is a big help to us in that process. But then that in actuality would lower the cost in the grant. It wouldn't be the 4.5, the full amount for that. We do feel as well there is a mobilization payment that would be due by, they're willing to work with us on the date. Their goal is to have this all paid for them, for the company. Of course, the bonds and those processes are different as to when the payment starts. But they want to be paid for their job, of course, by the end of this year. We do feel comfortable with some of the school construction funds that we asked to be carried over last year for the vestibules, the projects that we have, that we could help support that mobilization amount up front from what we have.
So
and then
we may not spend this $4.5 million of the citizens' money. We're going to have some grant funds, and there's some money that's already
Right.
available
We
in
are-
carryover.
Right.
Okay.
We are really trying to be good stewards of the school division's funds, so that you are aware. We had decided not just, and it goes into the big picture, the school division and the caboose bill has the bonus payment for school staff. We have opted not to take that at this time, and we will look at any funding that we have left within the school division at the end of the year, so that we would not have to ask you for an additional match because of the need of this HVAC system and stuff, and that we would take those type of things out of any year in funding that we have. So we are really trying to be good stewards of the money and what we're doing with it. And the safety of the students is, of course, the priority, and the staff.
Board members, the draw of the money is, you were co-copied. I had to send it to Davenport because they needed to know when they put this RFP out. And so you were co-copied on that, if you would take a look at it. But anyway, but maybe it was hard to read, maybe, I don't know. It is kind of hard to read. But it was and I said,
I think you got it.
pay close attention to the fourth. It was the last PowerPoint that actually showed
It's actually-
the draws of the money.
We've
So-
actually got it.
Oh, okay.
It's at the
Anyway.
back of your agenda.
All right.
All right, board, so we've had some more discussion. We've got federal contracts, federal grant money. I'm not gonna be able to pursue anything else. I'll take a motion if you would allow me to sign this letter that lets,
That's mostly for the grant, right,
This
Dr.
is-
Martin?
Yes,
Okay.
the
That's
letter of support for the.
this is a letter of support for the Virginia Department of Education, and then for Mr. Bowen to sign the train contract.
Mr.
wants to
Chairman,
make that
I
motion?
move to allow yourself and Mr. Bowen to sign the needed documents. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Can we have a quick point of discussion? I just want to ask one thing, and I don't want to be remiss with the elected body that you guys work with. And I just, for the record, where does the school board stand on this decision?
They are fully behind us, 100%.
That's all I needed to hear my motion
Chair and Vice Chair are
stand.
both here this evening
All right,
with
I've got a first and a second. This is a monetary obligation. Mr. Bowen, would you roll call, please?
All right, we have a motion on the floor to give permission for the chairman to sign the school obligation and give the Nottoway County Administrator the permission to sign the train contract. Probably you would want to add to that amendment, Mr. Rourke, if after legal review.
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yes, sir.
All right, so we got a motion on the floor. All right, Mr. Rourke, yea or nay?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram, yea or nay?
Yes.
Ms. Norton, yea or nay?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Toad, yea or nay?
Yes.
Chairman Collins, yea or nay?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like AC might be coming into the school system. We don't know about heat yet, but school.
Thank y'all, and
us.
thank y'all for your
In August, we know
patience.
we need AC, so we do truly appreciate the
When,
support for
when you
it.
get, I think when you get that contract tomorrow, if you can get it to me right away, that way I can send it to,
What we can
Catherine likes
do
working on
is
Fridays.
We'll be notifying them tonight. They're waiting to send it once we had confirmation and make sure there were no changes in the draws. So as soon as we'll notify them, we should have it first thing in the morning and have it to you.
Okay.
Okay. We'll send it to you too, Andrea, just to.
I went to Crew High School for 12 years with no air conditioning.
Whatever. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Had the big windows.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, this is nothing for decision tonight. You have the bowling alley proposals that were the 4 o'clock, struck 4 o'clock today, and I had left the steps meeting, and the last I'd known, it was just 2 proposals. Ms. Kelly, was that all that came in?
3.
3, so a 3rd proposal did come in.
Yeah.
I have not even seen
Got
that.
that in the email from
Okay,
Susan.
yeah, okay, I was in a steps meeting and I drove right from Farmville, so I didn't get a chance to look at it. I didn't know if you wanted to have a discussion on that or look at it at a work session in May. If you do a work session in May, then I gotta do a public hearing in June, so it'll be June before you could be able to sell it.
Well, board needs to talk.
Well, yeah, we got to talk about it, but there's already been a FOIA from Mr. Colburn, so the rest of the citizens should get to know too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we've got an offer. Let's see here.
I gotta find it now.
I had an offer from Mr. Woodson Irby. And his is short, I'll read his whole. To Nottoway County Board of Supervisors and Steve Bowen, County Administrator. I would like to submit a bid of $325,000 for the following real estate parcel described as 1200 Darville's Road, Blackstone, Virginia, and designated as tax parcel 51-94. I will describe my intentions for the use of the property as speculative investment. Okay. Now we've got a second one. I'll read that one. That's just a couple paragraphs. This is WMG Holdings, which I know is Mr. Moss, Mr. Gunn. I think there may be somebody else, but I'm not sure. Would like to make an offer on the property located at 1200 Darville's Road. This property is also described as Nottoway County Records Tax Parcel number 5194 formerly Nottoway Lanes. We would like to offer $360,000. This offer has no contingencies, it's an all-cash offer. We would like to close on or about June 22nd. Although the property has been a bowling alley for many years, our intention is to repurpose the building to warehouse and office space. We feel the growing need for the office warehouse space is greater than the need for a bowling alley. Obviously, the bowling alley has failed us all as taxpayers. There are 3 members of our LLC, and all are local to Nottoway County. We can assure you that our intentions are above board and in line with the Nottoway County would consider a great use for this property. Please let us know if you have any questions regarding this offer. All right, and the next one is a full real estate contract, so I'm not going to read all the way through that, so we'll hit the high points. This is intent to purchase property, and the buyer would be JCOS Engineering. They currently rent a building on Northwest Avenue, and they manufacture aircraft parts, gaskets and things of that nature. They have offered
400.
$400,000.
$400,000, yeah.
Yep, financial terms. Buyer intends to purchase for $400,000. It is contingent on all the normal things in a real estate contract: bank financing, inspections, title examinations, rezonings if necessary, no encumbrances, no restrictions, adequate utilities, subject to financing, marketable title, no bankruptcies, litigation, things of that nature, no notice of repairs. So those are the 3 offers, and we need to decide when the board's going to discuss them. Do you want to have it in a work session, or do you want to try to have some phone calls amongst each other, or?
It seems like all 3 proposals, there's not going to be a future bowling alley, right?
There is no bowling alley.
Mr. Chairman, just hit the gavel, say sold, please.
I'd like to further discuss it at a work session meeting, me
Like a
personally.
discussion?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yes.
All right, so I'll have it
All right.
on the May work session, okay?
Okay,
All right.
that's what we'll do.
All right, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have, and this is really the biggest reason why we're here.
While we're here.
Why we're here.
All right, on the agenda, we have a presentation from Ampliform.
Chairperson Collin and members of the board, the applicant, NW Rocky Ford Solar, and this will be explained after this presentation from a staff perspective, I assume, by Greg. Oftentimes, we are speaking after the introduction, but y'all are familiar with this. NW Rocky Ford Solar, a subsidiary of Ampliform. We appreciate the opportunity to make this brief presentation. You know the basics. It's a 100 megawatt project south of Crew that will have approximately 614 acres within the fence line. In the northern portion of the project are parcels currently zoned general business and rural residential, and there is a rezoning on the agenda for the general business properties to be rezoned to rural residential. In the southern portion of the project, the zoning is agricultural. If the rezoning I mentioned in the northern portion is approved, then the way staff has set this up tonight, there will be 3 separate hearings on our application for a special exception permit to allow solar to be built. On September 9th, you approved the siting agreement that this county and Ampliform had negotiated over a period of months. The siting agreement is a powerful economic development tool that the state legislature encouraged and that Nottoway County has taken full advantage of. We will pay to the county $8 million up to and including the commercial operations date of the project. We agreed to front load the payments that we would otherwise have made over the course of the project, providing the county.
Now, Jared, that comes into effect with $140,000 of the cost sharing goes back toward that, correct?
Could you repeat?
Sure. So we were to get and we are receiving $140,000 roughly a year, the county is, for revenue sharing. That would be reimbursed to Ampliform in light of the $8 million being paid up front, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just want clarification on that.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And we could talk about how that's done in the performance agreement that was passed last.
Right.
if-
Which
if
is
you'd
already-
like.
That was the biggest questions that we had was about the performance agreement and the nature of that grant.
Right,
And the time value of money was, it was important for the county to receive the 8 million due to the courthouse
right.
obligation that we have. So,
Yeah, and also I would invite, the county attorney.
Go ahead, let's,
Yeah.
well, let's let you do your
Okay.
presentation, maybe take, if you guys
Sure,
can take notes and
absolutely.
then ask questions when he's done.
The way we're doing it provides the county with a powerful time value of money benefits, an amount that was only possible because of the ability to build a 100-megawatt project. We're also paying annual real estate tax on the incremental assessed value of the land. So this extraordinary $8 million agreement is in place and ready to go and work for the county if the special use permit, special exception permits are approved. This agreement, siding agreement also established setbacks that fell within the authority of the board to grant. And also the agreement established by its nature that the project was in accord with the comprehensive plan of Nottoway County under the 2232 statute. Tuesday night in the Planning Commission, Supervisor Ingram mentioned an article that was published in the Cardinal News recently that discussed some recent Virginia General Assembly legislation that will place some limits on what counties can do in their ordinance in regulating solar facilities, including establishing that counties cannot require setbacks greater than 200 feet from a dwelling that are not part of the solar project. That bill is known as HB 711. When the article was written, the process wasn't quite done yet, but the breaking news is that the General Assembly approved the governor's recommendation on some technical amendments yesterday, and the HB 711 will become the law in Virginia on July 1st. The article I mentioned went on to talk about how even with this law in place, the Board of Supervisors has great discretion in making its decision, really on any matter before you, as you know, including on special exception permits for solar. The article explored a good bit about some, what we find to be interesting denials of special use permits elsewhere in Virginia. But the flip side is just as true. The board has wide discretion to approve solar. It's discretion to make a decision that's supported by a reasonable basis. And I appreciated you bringing up the article, Supervisor Ingram, because I wrote the article.
I know you wrote it, so go ahead.
It's now a little bit out of date now that HB 711 is law of the land, but it's great to know that someone reads my stuff. So on Tuesday night, the Planning Commission hearing, there was, it seemed to me that the chief reason for opposing the project was a technical one. It was claimed that a utility scale solar facility was not a public utility as is used in your ordinance, where it lays out the basis for getting a special exception permit in rural residential. I don't know if I can state it clearer. In Virginia, a privately developed solar facility is a public utility, period. The Virginia Code explicitly says so. We could provide the black letter law on this if you'd like, but there are some good examples to point out why this is the case. If solar facilities were not public utilities, then large solar projects would never need to go before the State Corporation Commission for their state permits, but they definitely do. If they weren't public utilities, then no private solar facility would ever need to come before the Planning Commission to get a substantially in accord determination. The county ordinance uses that term as well in connection with the 2232 requirement. Solar being a public utility is why these requirements exist. I'm thinking that maybe Planning Commission was thinking of what the Virginia Code calls a public service corporation, like a regulated utility, which is a different concept altogether. So again, the board has tremendous discretion to make a decision on a solar special exception permit. as long as it is grounded in reasonableness. And we're here to say that it is reasonable to follow the law. A quick word about conditions. We have provided to staff, and staff tells me that they have provided to you our proposed final set of conditions. These are the same conditions that we have negotiated with staff, with the exception that, first, we added protections for Lazaretto Creek and Crystal Lake, which will be discussed a bit later. And second, we have asked for a period of time before the expiration of the SEP that allows us time to get through the PGM interconnection process, which is a process that has been lengthening year over year and is completely out of our control. So we are asking for a 5-year period with a 1-year extension possibility to commence construction. It would be a shame to go down this road all that distance and not be able to bring these economic benefits to the county just because this out of our control process has timed us out. So we urge you to approve the project with the applicant's proposed final conditions that you have in front of you. So my last word on this is a well-located, largely out of sight, smartly conceived renewable energy facility that will drive the payment of $8 million into your county up front at a time when, like a lot of counties, there's a need for these funds. It is also perhaps the last large solar facility that you'll have in front of you. So it's in your discretion to see this project as a good thing for Nottoway County and to approve of our special exception permits. Thank you. And I'll now pass it off to Bob.
Wait a second, sir. Did anybody have any questions?
I want to read what our attorney sent today. I reviewed the
Go ahead
Virginia.
and have a seat.
I've reviewed the Virginia code and don't see where solar facilities is specifically named, identified as being a public utility.
We actually brought the law printout itself so we can,
Show it to our attorney. She's the one who wrote us this letter.
okay.
I think I read her lips. I think she said she had it. Did you say that?
So your opinion's changed since your email?
Well, so if you continue to read my email, I do say that I think solar is encompassed in that definition.
So the word solar is not there, it's
Electric.
Encompassed.
I was specifically asked if the word solar,
okay.
the exact word solar was there, and I said no.
But what is in the code is that it's electrical, generates electricity? Am I understanding that right?
Electrical generating facility.
Generating facility. I'm
Just
sorry.
across from Inverness in Burkeville, there's a substation that's owned by Virginia Power and Light. It's in rural residential.
So
that's a
we're
private-
talking about the ordinance provision now?
So that's a private, we're just having a small discussion here, I think.
Right,
So there's a private Virginia Power and Light, which is Dominion Power now.
right.
In rural residential, there's a substation delivering electric. So is Dominion Power a public or private? It's an LLC that owns that substation.
I would say if it's providing, I'm no lawyer, but I'm saying if it's providing a service to the public in the form of energy, then it is.
It's no different than going to Walmart, purchasing something. It is not a public building. It's a private corporation. It's just open to the public.
Correct.
But to your point here, Mr. Chairman, I'm still confused because I had some conversations with some of the planning commission members today. One thought they were connecting on 49 and one thought they were connecting on the substation of 723. So I would like to get clarification. Where is this project connecting into? Is it substation in Burkeville? Is it substation on 49 in Crew?
All right, well, let's let her go ahead and start her presentation. That was a small discussion. If you could answer that question.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Evening.
As you know by now, my name is Bobby Rodriguez, and I'm a project developer with Ampliforum. Jared has covered the legal framework. I want to take a few minutes to talk about what this project actually looks like on the ground and what it means for Nottoway County. Rocky Ford Solar is a 100-megawatt facility that will generate enough electricity to power approximately 15,000 Virginia homes annually. It produces no emissions, minimal traffic, and virtually no operational noise once it's built. This project exists because Nottoway County landowners made a deliberate decision about their own property. That decision deserves to be honored. private land, private investment, private risk, and $8 million in contracted payments to this county generated without a dollar of county resources required. Jared mentioned the $8 million. I want to put that in context. An analysis by Mangum Economics projects $18.7 million in economic activity during construction, supporting roughly 58 job years and $3.3 million in wages and benefits spent largely in and around Nottoway County. The siting payments are contracted, they are guaranteed, and the property will be reassessed for real estate taxation, generating additional ongoing revenue on top of that for the life of the project. HB 711 becomes law July 1st and sets statewide standards for solar siting. This project meets or exceeds every one of them, including setbacks from property lines and habitable dwellings, where we agree to go beyond what the state requires. That's the kind of good faith that produced the siting agreement. Todd will now walk you through the site plan, civil engineering, and the protections we put in place for Lazaretto Creek and Crystal Lake. David will cover buffering and landscaping, and Nick, our independent appraiser, will address property value impacts. And of course, Tito is also available by phone for questions, and as probably mostly everybody knows by now, he is not here because he got bit by a snake last week and is dealing with that still. So in closing, tonight you have the opportunity to honor the decision of Nottoway County landowners and deliver $8 million in guaranteed economic benefit to the county on private land at no cost to taxpayers. We ask for your approval.
Could you address Mr. Rourke's question about the substation?
Oh, sure. So we have, if you look at our site plan, we have a few different options that we were looking at. We've now narrowed it down to some, if you can picture the transmission line that's running close to Dennis Tatum's, through Dennis Tatum's property, we're leaning toward connecting that section of the transmission line. So it'll be on Dennis Tatum's property likely.
Which
So
direction
it'll
is it
be,
going
so it's
in?
not existing.
Right, so it's non-existent substation, or either y'all will build a connection.
Yes, it is close to the existing substation there, but it will be built.
Okay. I think that answers, yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Todd Chalmers, civil engineer with Westwood Professional Services. Tonight, I'd like to address our approach to stormwater management and erosion and sediment control for the Rocky Ford Solar Project. Both of these items are important for the protection of Crystal Lake, Lazaretto Creek, as well as the other wetlands, tributaries, and streams in the watershed. The northern portion of our site drains into Lazaretto Creek and ultimately Crystal Lake, which is located 3 miles downstream from the project. Since Crystal Lake's primary purpose is for water supply, we have proposed a specific proffer 28 A, B, and C that has been successfully implemented in Chesterfield County's Upper Swift Creek watershed for the last 20 years to provide additional protection. Proffer 28 includes super silt fence, aka wireback silt fence, that'll be provided within 50 feet of any disturbed stream or wetland. Application of PAM, which is a soil stabilization treatment that'll happen during construction and upon final site stabilization. Sediment traps and sediment basins will be designed with an additional 25% capacity to provide extra measure of protection. Additionally, alternative BMPs with the same or greater protection may be substituted by the DEQ. Proffer condition 28D addresses the creation of a water quality sampling plan. The sampling plan has several components, but it'll establish a baseline water quality for our site. Groundwater sampling will be provided from existing wells within the project. The baseline water quality will establish testing requirements for both turbidity and contaminants. Water quality sampling will happen each year for the first 5 years of the operation of the project, as well as during the decommissioning of the facility. All results will be delivered to the County of Nottoway and the Town of Cruz Utility Department. Also, a procedure for addressing any contaminants that are identified is established in the plan. For stormwater management, we will address that through the Virginia runoff reduction method. We currently have over 70 basins proposed that'll function as erosion and sediment control devices during construction, and then as our permanent stormwater management facilities for the life of the project. These basins will provide both water quality and quantity and quality control for the duration of the project. So that's my presentation. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
I got one for Bo.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask a question for Bo. So, there were some concerns, raised about, water levels and stuff like that, about y'all using water to clean these, solar panels and stuff like that. Are those basins gonna be used to basically recycle water to be used for the arms to clean these, or y'all be
Yes, sir,
pulling
they-
off of wells?
They absolutely can be. With the 70 basins around, we can drop a pump in them, use them to clean the facilities.
Can we clarify that? Because I don't mean to, people want specifics, so forgive me. You said it can be. I'm saying, will it be? Because I think some people are looking to know, is this going to be a project that's in the future pulling off the local water table, or is this for sure going to be used off the water basins?
Well, it's hard to say. Not all the basins are going to be wet facilities. They're going to be dry
Right.
unless it rains. So
Right.
we can't guarantee that every basin will be able to provide that water.
Right.
Well, also, as Bo mentioned, in the state of Virginia, we get 45 inches of rain a year, which is ample.
We need about a third of it now.
Right.
We sure do. It's strange to have this in April, but the reality of it is, in Virginia, there's not a lot of solar cleaning like it is out west. We have typically almost an inch of rain a week that provides ample cleaning.
Right.
We'd be happy to proffer, if we have a wet facility, that we can use that water for cleaning the panels.
And it's going to be several basins throughout the project that may give you an opportunity to regain some of that water in the way of pumping it back and using it and letting it go back in the basin.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Mr. Ingram, you got any concern, question?
Plenty of them. Look at him.
Mr. Chalmers?
He's actually
I've heard
turning
this,
gray.
this is the third time I've heard this, so go ahead, sir.
All right, thank
You
you, sir.
good.
Thank you,
Have our
Todd.
next-
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm David Lasowski. I work for Westwood Professional Services, and I'm here to talk about the landscaping for the project today. One of the first parts of the landscape is going to be the wildlife pollinator meadows that are going to be part of it. These will be under the arrays within this inside of the project, and then thoroughly throughout the buffers of the project. So within the buffers, this collection of land parcels has created a lot of boundaries. And so many of those boundaries have existing wooded conditions, so there's no views into the site from a road or from a neighboring property. But there are a number of places where there aren't any buffers. It's farmland, or the topography is such that there might be a view. So there's a perimeter fence around the project, and then between the fence and either the road or the neighboring parcel, we will either supplement an existing area of trees and shrubs to increase its density, or we will propose a new one completely. Now, what we've proposed in the buffer plan aligns perfectly with the solar ordinance. It uses a combination of large canopy trees, understory trees, evergreen trees and shrubs, and then a mixture that complements the natural composition of woodlands in this area. Again, with the example that we had shared with you, all those plants are checked native on the Nottoway County plant list, which is an important thing, not only for us, but for the pollinators that come, be part of the overall ecosystem of the county. So that's an important part. We also In addition to that, I wanted to share with you, and I think some of you have seen this before, but here's a visualization that we put together. So on the right side is what it will look like soon after planting in those areas where there aren't any dense existing tree lines. And then this is 10 plus years after that as it fills in. And I'll just make a quick turn around here. So,
Sweet gums will get in there for that.
as a landscape architect, I've reviewed in great detail the solar ordinance of Nottoway County, and I agree with the buffer matrix that's being designed. In addition to that, in addition to having a good plan to move forward with, there's also a two-level plan to come behind it to ensure that everything's working well together. So prior to certificate of occupancy for the project, there's going to be a landscape as-built. There's going to be an inspection by the planning department to ensure the plants that we need to make this buffer matrix work are installed and in good health. And then 1 year later, there's a follow-up inspection supported by a bond to, again, ensure things are in good health and growing. And if they're not, we need to replant them. And that's largely about throughout the beginning of the project. And during all the years of operation, the operating entity has that same responsibility to keep this buffer intact, to replace anything that's dead and damaged, and to look out to create that natural buffer, not only for our sight lines, but also for the ecology in the area. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
When an acre of pines is planted, there's expectations that a percentage of them die in the first several years. On these type of shrubs and stuff, what is that expectation of?
Well, in general, professional landscape contractors, understand there's about a 10% factor, 10% loss factor.
And this extraordinary dry weather,
If you plant into it versus established, well rooted in the ground, right?
Yeah, and of course, the timing of planting has a great impact on that,
So on these pines, if somebody wants a successful 450 stand, they may plant 550 up front with that expectation of 100 of them are not going to live. Do y'all plant extra with that expectation, or do you go back and take the dead ones out and replant them? Or both?
The plan is currently to completely follow the ordinance and to replace anything that we've lost.
so they'll
We're not,
replace
we're
as
not
all
hedging the
inspections.
bet, but in many cases, we have existing trees and shrubs to work with. So in that regard, we've already got, a leg forward.
Okay.
Why deciduous trees? Because the leaves are going to fall in the fall. And you're going to be able to see right through.
So the buffer matrix within the ordinance has both deciduous and evergreen trees. One big benefit to deciduous trees is their growth rate is often quite a bit faster than evergreen trees and shrubs. So they provide a quicker immediate impact, through multiple levels. And the evergreens are included within that. So
What kind of deciduous trees you talking about planting?
I always first looked at oak
Wheat
trees.
gums?
They'll plant themselves.
Yeah.
Big amen to that.
The sweet gum, as you know, we all know sweet gum. It's a Virginia native. It's a robust growing plant in areas along creeks and streams, and so it's not unfamiliar to the site. So
You ever step on one of them balls, you'll remember it. Sweet gum balls?
Barefooted,
Might have to
right?
get them off the panels.
Yeah.
They roll.
Anybody else have any other questions? Did you finish, sir? You're all finished?
I am done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know when or where may be the most appropriate time, so I'll digress to you. I got a couple of points of clarification, mainly with Jared. I don't know, like I said, if I would have that discussion.
Now, we're going to do a board discussion after this presentation. Would you
Okay.
like to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we'll have any questions that you guys want to ask?
If it helps, I'm the last presenter.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Nick Kirkland with Kirkland Appraisals. I'm a state certified appraiser here in Virginia, as well as 7 other states. I've been accepted as an expert in property value impacts for proposed developments, against proposed developments, and that sort, hundreds of times at this point across various states. What we've been asked to do is provide an impact study to determine whether or not the proposed solar facility would have an impact on adjoining or nearby property values. The type of analysis that we've done is the same type of analysis we would do if this was a proposed subdivision, proposed townhomes, proposed landfill, or solar facility. It's the same methodology, the same kind of work that we would be doing. And so I'm just gonna briefly talk to you about what we did and what we found. So the first thing that we're doing is we're just looking at the adjoining uses, making a chart of that, and looking at this proposed area. And the important part on determining whether or not there would be an impact is to utilize what's called a matched pair or paired sale analysis. This is what an appraiser is going to do when they're valuing your house or your land. In a matched pair, what an appraiser does is they're looking at a home that is sold next to a test use, in this case next to an existing solar facility, and comparing that to several other homes that sold nearby that are not next to a solar facility in order to measure for any difference. If you've ever had your house or your land appraised, what the appraiser is going to do in that scenario is they have your property and then they find several comparables nearby that are obviously not your property, but give an indication of what your property is worth. We do a very similar analysis here. We find a home that's sold next to a solar facility. We find several nearby comparables that are not next to that facility, and we go, okay, based on these, we think it should have sold for about this much. How much did it sell for? And the difference between what we would expect it to sell for versus how much it actually sold for provides an indication of impact, no impact, or positive impact. There is a second methodology that we have utilized called the sale-resale analysis, because this often comes up is, well, if you took my house right here next to a vacant piece of land where I bought it, and a solar farm is built right next door, and I sell my house, would I get the same amount? This is a sale-resale analysis. We take the same home that sold next to vacant land, a solar facility is built right next door, that same house sells again. We utilize the Federal Housing Finance Agency Housing Price Index, which is just an appreciation rate by submarket by quarter, that provides an indication on how much it should have sold for that second time. Utilizing these methodologies, we've got a range of data from across Virginia, the eastern coast of the country, as well as stretching out across the country. We've looked at well over 1,300 solar facilities proposed and existing combined. For this proposed solar project, given the setbacks to the adjoining properties, as well as the vegetative buffer that you've just heard about, it is my professional opinion that the proposed development would not impact adjoining neighbors or property values. We have a thick impact study, and I've been asked to be brief. I'm happy to answer any questions or go further into detail, and that is all I have.
For me, there's no existing Nottoway large solar project.
Yes.
So did you look in Southside Virginia? You said you were 7 states. So did you spend like in some of our local communities that have it?
So what we do is we look at the closest solar facilities that we can find, but we are limited in the data we can provide based on sales next to those facilities.
And length of time that they've been there.
Correct. And so what we've done is for each of these facilities that we've looked at within 1 and 3 mile radius, the average or the median home value and the average household income, and the comparables that we have selected, the comparable facilities where we have sales next to them, bracket this site in terms of more affluent areas and less affluent areas, places with higher home values, places with lower home values, and they're consistently showing no impact at distances like are proposed with the vegetative buffer as proposed.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask for a little bit of clarification for that? You said it's consistently showing no impact up or down. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And
So it just follows the market, a typical real estate market.
what we've seen is that if people have the choice to purchase next to a solar facility like this or another nearby home, they're not paying more or less to be next to a facility like this. That is not to say they're not individuals who do not want to live next to a solar facility. That is very much the case. I don't want to live next to certain uses also. but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a measurable impact in the market and that people are paying less to live next to that. They're just preferences up to individuals.
In the information, I'm sorry.
No, I've got a question, because I'm in a quandary here. I understand comparables. How can you emphatically say there's no impact when there's no comparables to compare them to? So, and you emphatically say there's no impact. I don't understand how you get that analogy.
Yeah, so when doing an appraisal, say, of land, we do a lot of land appraisals. If I'm looking at a piece of land and none of the adjoining pieces of land have sold, I can't go back to the bank and say, well, nothing next to this has sold, nothing in this exact location is sold, there's no comparables, sorry, you can't loan on this. We have to expand out, look for either similar areas, we go further back in time. And so what we've done with this is, like I said, we found similar areas that are both worse off, better off, and bracketed this area, and utilize that data to compare to what's proposed here.
So that is your comps, correct?
That's correct. That's
So we know there's none in Nottoway. So they've gone outside of
Maybe to
Nottoway.
Charlotte County, you may go to Sussex or wherever.
That's correct. We have to go where the data is, because what the most important thing from our perspective is not to say, there's a solar facility right here and there's homes this far away. We need to actually have a sale next to that to show, well, is that having an impact though? That's the real question. So we have to look at where that data is, and we certainly start as local as possible, but given there's none in the county, then we expand out. If there's none in the surrounding counties, we have to continue to stair step out, and we look backwards in data, but if there's no sales, unfortunately, there's nothing for us to analyze.
Any further questions?
If it would help, we have also reached out to tax assessors at this point across 12 states or so, over 200, including the Nottoway County assessor in the past, asking if they make any adjustments to the adjoining or neighbor's property value up or down for being adjacent to solar facilities. Not a single tax assessor in Virginia or any other state that we reached out to makes an adjustment to the neighbor's property value up or down. That's not to say that they don't reassess the land under the panels.
Right.
But the adjoining properties are not being reassessed at a higher value to increase neighbors' taxes or at a lower value showing an impact.
Okay.
That's interesting.
All right. I don't see any more discussion. Thank you, sir. Jared, would you come up to the mic? We're going to have some board discussion, see if they have any questions.
I got a couple of questions. I don't know who needs to answer them.
Okay, well, Jared will be the arbitrator. on who
Okay.
answers them.
Are any of these parcels under land use?
I can answer that. I know there's one specific large one, I think two that is under land use.
So you know what the penalty is?
Yes, and they're paying that back, not the landowner. That landowner's in agreement with that, how that gets paid. They gotta pay that roll back. They gotta go back.
5 years. 5 years.
I was thinking it was 6, but 5 sounds right.
5, I think, yeah.
Only reason I know that is because I got land in land use.
Me too, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I know you do.
All right, does Ampliform have any projects in Virginia?
We have a few that we are developing right now, but we have no active projects. Our active projects are in Pennsylvania, where Ampliform is headquartered.
So we can't go in Virginia and see one of your projects?
What would be your question about it? Because maybe our
Well,
Pennsylvania.
all right, here's my second. These came to me from my constituents, and I'm not making these up. Has Ampliform had any applications denied?
To what body? What kind of application?
A solar application in a community, in a county. Have they had any denied in Virginia?
Well, as you know, all of these permits are conditional use permits are highly discretional, and we don't win 100% of the time. So in Dinwiddie, we had a project that was not approved.
Can you tell me why?
The reasoning was that they just didn't feel like it was right for the county.
Was that Lily Pond Solar?
No. The project is called Lou Jones.
So you don't have any projects in Virginia?
We don't have any operating projects in Virginia. Our operating projects are in Pennsylvania. But if you have any follow-up questions for those, I can answer.
I think you wanted somebody to go, they wanted to go look to see how the projects.
That's what I was
Is that what
thinking.
you're
I mean,
getting at?
you know, how does this thing go about? And if we don't have any close by, we can't go look.
And I'll
Is
also,
is Pennsylvania Commonwealth, is it not?
uh,
It is, I can answer that for you. I'm not gonna ask you nothing I can't answer.
I will also say that, of course, as everybody knows, each county, each township has different ordinance requirements. And so a project in another county or township wouldn't exactly look like what we would be developing in Nottoway.
Well, as Jared says, come July 1st, we're gonna all be under the same rules.
State,
State.
not private.
Tell us what we're doing, what we gotta do, yeah. These are questions that my constituents call me and ask me to ask, so that's why I'm asking them. Because you know.
If this one is yours, this is Mr. Rourke's concern. We received the county side of the income today as he requested. That was the $8 million, when it was received. We know in the performance agreement it talks about receiving increased taxes when the basis increases on the value of the properties under the assessments. He did not receive the answers that he wanted in regards to the grant. Jared spoke on it just for a minute. Do you have specific questions? You just want this for the citizens?
Is the grant being the
to
140,000?
understand? Yes.
Yes,
Oh.
because what I would have liked to have seen, Jared, is a clear explanation, because like I stated last week, Nottoway stands firm in wanting that $12 million. So one of my suggestions.
Don't get it. You can stand all you want to.
You know why, hey, I might add, you know why we're not gonna get it? Because we let the time frame fall by.
I know,
Because we
I
kept
know.
kicking the can. That's why we're not gonna
But
get
see,
it.
like, the state code requires you guys to give us 140, and that we're gonna return that because we've been given the $8 million up front, which will end up being $10.25 million. So what I would have liked to have seen was an actual layout to show that the schedule plan for the 140 that Ampliform will pay to Nottoway per code would be given, say, January 2nd, because it only has to be paid once a year. And then maybe Nottoway could hold that money for y'all till December 30th.
I think their letter is required, their invoice is gonna come between January 1st and January 31st. So
Right.
you'll be holding the 140 from 2025 all the way through.
Is that correct?
Well, you'll collect the money
Right, in January.
in January, and then you'll receive a bill the following January, and then you send it.
That was my question too.
What he's referring to is the revenue sharing, the 140,000.
I know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
if we didn't
I'm
get
talking about
so
the
much-
interest we could get off of it
We
if we
don't-
can hold it for a year.
The day
That's what
we
I'm
get
talking
it,
about.
the day we get it is,
That's what I was
Just the
afraid
2
of.
months?
That's what I was
Okay.
afraid of.
December 5th, and then it's gonna be returned in January, February.
so when does the county expect to receive that revenue share?
And see, that's what I was looking for, so we can have a physical time frame to show the citizens, this is when it's gonna be paid, this is when it will be paid back. But still, with those 2 months, like I said, I would love to be holding it the 11 months potentially, because we get the interest. But still, those 2 months, we have the ability to collect the interest and keep that interest on that 140, right? So,
Okay.
Maybe we
I
lend it
keep
to the
looking at
school
Mike.
system.
Well, the biggest piece is the $8 million. That's the biggest savings.
right,
For the
right.
citizens, because we have the option of either investing that money to drive income through CDs and so
Right.
forth, offset the tax rates, and then the other option is to use it as a principal payment to not borrow as much
For the
on
courthouse.
the courthouse.
Well, I saw in that email you forwarded to everybody, it said some projected 2-point-something million in real estate tax,
That's
due to the increase, but the time frame, I think they said was 25 years. in
correct, but
in
that
letter, right?
2.25 million,
Be spread over 25 years.
correct, and it might be closer to 1.3 million. It all depends on how much Christie reassesses and what she reassesses. It's a number that,
So in other words, that could be an inflated number.
Well, over time, your tax rate increases and your values increase.
So naturally, it's gonna go up.
No, wait a minute now, we can't increase taxes.
Well, maybe we'll decrease taxes if the values go up. But those numbers, the problem is those numbers,
I understand, but I, you know, when I see a number 2.5 million or whatever it was, I'm thinking, wow. So I'm dividing 25
so
into it, and I'm
and this
looking at,
dropped, you know, they said 614 acres tonight. I was using 700 the other day, doing math.
It's the reassessment, Mr. Ingham, like you told me your property value, weren't you the one that told me it went up 90% or 100%?
99%.
And a whole lot of that had to do with, it taking 6 years for the reassessment and all of the development in your area. Your lands were more, but it did make you look better on paper.
Didn't make me look better in the pocketbook.
No, but you more
And
wealthy.
we had an email from our Commissioner of Revenue just recently. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at it.
She did state that the assessed value, that we actually can resell 38% more than
Yeah.
our assessed value.
Yeah, our current assessments that were so egregious have not kept up with the sales prices. Sales are 30% over those assessments. Values.
But in clarification to that, it's been like that since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
It's always been under 20 to 40%.
So, Mr. Chairman, furthermore, and I don't want to minimize or maximize anybody's concerns, but from what I understand, Jared, it wasn't a technical issue so much with the planning commission. It was a zoning issue. I don't know if the board heard what was read last night, but it was kind of concerning. But if y'all want, I can draft that. But the zoning issues was that it was not in line with the comp plan. And some of their concerns too was that the extension went from 3 years plus 18 months to 5 years plus 18 months. And one thing I also want to do with everybody is the landowners that have agreed to this, I want to protect them. So what happens if after 5 years plus 18 months, the county has held this and y'all walk away? And we've turned potential other suitors for these folks away. I mean, Mr. Tatum, Ms. Jennings, Ms. Jenkins, and all of them that have put blood, sweat, and tears in this and has basically made this decision to give themselves, to hold on to their land and to give Nottoway some economic growth. My thing is either you're going to do this project or not. And I mean, I don't want that to sound abrasive because it's not meant to be. So I don't understand the extension plus the 18 months.
What we've been asking for in our revised final conditions was 5 years plus 12 months.
Okay.
6 months less than that. Well, there's going to be just to put it bluntly, so much outlay by Ampliform as they go down the road of developing this, that it would be, from a business perspective, it would be irrational to step away from the project for, at that point, any reason other than they weren't able to get interconnection to the transmission grid. Everything about development, binds Ampliform more and more to I mean, it's the way now, but it really is going to be that way. And as we go down the road to want to develop this project, there's, the investors will want to develop it's just, I don't think from a business perspective, there should be a lot of concern about the, Ampliform walking away for any reason or no reason at all.
The biggest piece is the PGM connection. Once that's been confirmed,
Right.
they can deliver the power.
Right.
And Bobby would like to add to that.
All right. And while you're coming up, Bobby, the other thing I would have for this is basically how do we alleviate the planning commission's concerns? Because they give their time, they volunteer, and I'm only speaking for the two that I work with. I work with any, but I work with the two from District 2. Anybody that has been in that planning commission will tell you they're well informed, they do their research, they do their homework, and for them to say no to something raises red flags for me. And that's the reason why I spoke with them today.
It
So.
was unanimous.
Right, well, and, but at the end of the day, just like staff would come to us from the planning commission and say, hey, look, we have a recommendation to this based on the planning commission. All right, so what I don't hear is, the planning commission said no. I had the motion that was read out where they listed all the concerns in there, which, like I said, it's legit concerns according to the wording. But how do we move forward and not shun people that we have come forward to do all this work, to put all this time and effort in it? Because for 6 years, and here's a hard reality, for 6 years, Nottoway has done zero on economic development because of fooling with solar. Zero. Including solar. We just haven't done anything. This has taken up so much time, it's taken away from that, but at the same time, we haven't got this done. So how do we eliminate these concerns moving forward to not keep kicking the can down the road? It's either a yes or no.
Okay. I'll answer the first question first. And I'll just say that within the whole development process for a solar project, this permit that we're having a vote for tonight is the highest risk item that any solar project has in Virginia. And everything after that is not discretionary. It's the state just having us check the boxes to make sure that we're in compliance, or the federal permits. So as far as like the risk that the project will go away, this is the biggest risk tonight, that the project will go away and the landowners will be disappointed and will have an outcome that we don't want. For the second question, I would like to invite Jared up, who can speak more to the procedural and technical questions that the Planning Commission had.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, when I said technical, I didn't mean any disrespect.
Right.
I meant definitional.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I'm a former planning commission chair in my jurisdiction in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So I have great respect and understanding of the job that citizen planners do. And the parts of my statement, my opening statement, which tried to address public utility, its meaning in the state, its meaning under at least a couple of places of Virginia code, was meant to address directly the concerns raised by the Planning Commission, including in its motion that it made. So, okay. I mean, I could go through that again, or restate some of what I said in the opening, but the point is that, this is not even a matter of semantics. That term is used in at least a couple of places of the Virginia Code very directly to mean or to comprise a solar facility, privately owned utility-scale solar facility.
I got a couple of questions. Maybe this to Ms. Rodriguez. Who's going to own this project after 6 years?
So right now, we are developing the project, and we haven't made a decision on what that is going to look like after tonight. Obviously, because I'm from Richmond, I hope that I can make a good case for Ampliform keeping this project, because I actually really have come to like Nottoway and y'all. So if my case isn't successful with Ampliform keeping the project Rocky Ford, it could go to, we would
It's
put
going
it
to be
out for
Dominion.
sale.
They just got told to have another 500 megawatts. So I don't think there's anybody else buying it.
Let's say Dominion does purchase it, which I've been told everybody says Dominion will end up owning it. Will the conditions of the agreement between Ampliform and the county carry over to the new agreement, to the new owner?
Absolutely. Everything that we've agreed to with the county will be carried over to whoever owns Rocky Ford Solar LLC.
See, Dickie wants to get in the utility business and make all that money, lower the tax rates here.
Right. No, thank you. That's fine. That were my two questions.
Had pretty good discussions. Does everybody feel like they've got enough information? We can go to the public hearing. I might take a 5-minute recess. We're gonna have about an hour's worth of speakers.
Right. The only thing I got left, Mr. Chairman, was just simply, they talk about if the project moves forward, the potential jobs here. And I would love to see Nottoway first. Any jobs that open,
Any of our contractors, dirt
right,
movers,
Nottoway
fences.
first, Nottoway first, Nottoway first. And the other thing, I don't want to say this part out loud. I told you so. When that governor signed that letter 6 years ago.
Actually,
Told you so.
we've mentioned that, so let me go ahead and read that part. I've got it here.
Well, I think Robert Hawthorne said it first. Eminent domain's coming or something, but.
All right, so
Yeah.
this left the governor's desk with just some few little word changes from wherefore to therefore to how and why. So the biggest part that is different than what we're doing here tonight, our ordinance is more restrictive than what the state is going to tell us to do. So setback distances shall be measured from the nearest edge of the equipment as follows. Between 150 and 200 feet from the nearest point on the outer wall of exposed existing occupied community buildings and dwellings. I believe we're holding, are we at 300?
300?
Okay. Is that accurate?
Yeah, at the time of site plan, there would be no property that's
It's not from, it's,
300 feet.
the 300 feet is from it, but it's not from a property line.
Now, this is from the,
From the
setback
equipment to the
distances
house.
shall be measured.
Right, say the
from
equipment to the house is what
Ours is-
Ampliform says.
Yeah, well, there's a split in that chart, our Exhibit C, it talks about the fence and the equipment.
Right, so I'm saying it, supposedly the equipment's gonna be 300 feet from a habitable dwelling, but you're gonna have your fence closer.
Right.
And this is 150 to 200.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's when I said that you can put, if you got cows, you can put the fence on the property line. I remember us talking about that now.
So the state
Ramon?
lets it get closer on July 1st. Between 50 and 100 feet from the outside edge of the roadbed of any road abutting the property. For projects not greater than 25 megawatts, 50 feet from the edge. And for projects greater than 25 megawatts, 100 feet from the edge of tidal wetlands or non-tidal wetlands. Both of those are less than what
Less than, that's right.
less than what our ordinance is tonight.
I didn't have no crystal ball, but
But we seen it coming.
we called it.
So we're looking at,
You gotta have money in Richmond.
That's right. In Northern Virginia.
That's correct.
so our ordinance, which is more restrictive than the state, lawyers are here, we would have to adopt this prior to what date?
July 1?
Is it July 1? That's when the law is going into effect.
Yep.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
we've done our best.
I move for a 5-minute, 10-minute.
We'll do 10-minute recess.
10-minute
And then we're going to let everybody have 5 minutes, so public speaking will be about an
Do
hour.
we have to vote on that? Do we need to vote on the recess?
If somebody can make a motion. Like,
did.
well, he made it, yeah, go
I
ahead.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Question.
not take your 5 minutes and just say, this is my opinion, that would be great. But we'll sit here, this will be a long. So the first one's gonna be G1, rezoning Dennis Tatum general business to rural residential.
All right, this is, good evening.
Mic up.
This is Mr. Tatum, this rezoning, and it's from general business to rural residential. This involves 5 tax maps, 18-102, 18-153, 18-154, 18-162, and 18-179. This was heard by the Planning Commission on Tuesday night, April 23rd. Staff recommended approval of this because it does fit with the comprehensive plan's future land use map. It's all surrounded as, it's all identified as rural residential. The Planning Commission heard the presentation and recommended approval with a vote of 8-0.
All right, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
Also move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Mr. Sonny Adams.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Bowen. I will only say this once tonight. I stand here as a resident of the county in no other capacity. For absolute transparency, I was asked to look at the package that is part of what you're here tonight by the chair. I did that and responded to him. I don't know if he shared any of that information with you or not. I will be very brief. I'm not sure why we have a comp plan, because what's being asked for tonight does not conform to the comp plan when it comes to this rezoning. Rural residential, generally speaking, is a residential area. There are 4 codes that one could use for solar that might fit this property use. Now, I don't know the Tatums. They probably don't know me either. But I don't know why we choose to have ordinances and comp plans when we choose to ignore them. I will save that check mark that I have for the Jenkins. I would say the very same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Ms. Rose Wooten, Burkeville, Virginia.
Good evening, Chairman, Mr. Bowen, Board.
Hey, good evening.
He just said exactly what I had to say. I wanted to know the reason why we have a comp plan and a solar ordinance, and it doesn't seem like we're following them, and this is not the first time either. I'm good, I'm good. Thank you. But I believe in one of the meetings, you said that, you know, this is the one chance we have to make it right, and you want everybody to come out and speak their time. I think you're right. I think exactly we need to get it right before we go there. And obviously, there's a lot of questions and still uncertainties with this. We had a lot of questions tonight. We're finding out answers, things a little different. So maybe we need to step back. I didn't say, you know, I don't want solar, period. I just want it where it's supposed to be, and we follow the guidelines. We have them for a reason. You had the Planning Commission make those solar guidelines up, and I also heard about the bill, 711, I've been reading it like y'all have, whatever. But we have to do something that, when we make this plan, we need to follow it. What do the other zoning ordinances mean to us if we don't follow the ones that we are going through tonight? Really, I mean, I'm losing my plain part. The Planning Commission had many concerns over the solar ordinance. They went through them, they worked them out. All of us that were opposed to solar, we said, okay, it's great, we can live with that. We can live with what we have on paper here. So it was something for everybody. Can they build it by their solar ordinance? They said yes. Will you get as much money? No. But you will still receive some money if you build it by the ordinance. I do have another question, it's kind of off center though. topsoil, I've heard a whole lot about people coming in and saying, we're gonna have sheep, we're gonna have, berries, we're gonna have trees, we're gonna have, somebody said turnips or whatever. Is that possible when you take the topsoil off? And how long is it gonna be before that can be done? Because as a farmer, I'm still a working farmer, as a farmer, I want good topsoil. I want it there for me to have a good crop. So that was something I couldn't understand. Taxes, I have property, or we have property in Buckingham, and they have 3 solar farm, or sites, if you want to call them, and the taxes went up. So don't tell the citizens, do you want taxes or do you want solar? Because there's no way that they're not going to go up if you've got a budget going on, and you're saying that this is earmarked for the courthouse or earmarked for this, because somewhere along the line, you got to pay for the other things too in the county. So that, for the citizens who heard that, I don't think that was a good statement. With the new signing of the Bill 711, what does that do to the whole state's solar ordinances? So if you deny tonight, what do we do? And if you don't deny tonight, then do we keep our solar ordinance? Do we have to go back to square one? What are we gonna do as a county for that? I signed up for all of them. This is gonna be my only speech, okay?
Okay.
But, save you some time.
That's fine.
But the,
I'll still call your name in case you hear something that you want to.
well, actually, I do appreciate something, that you spoke and discussed beforehand, because I wrote some of these notes there while you were discussing, and that helped a whole lot. I don't know if you're aware that when you have these meetings and you said for the public to come out and speak, there is a petition that went around, and it was almost 300. I think it was 280-some people signed a petition against the solar. So I think that plays a big part in it. Not only that, you had a planning commission that has done all the work, all this hard work to go through and make sure everything is done, and they've sent it to you to deny again. So please listen to them. They're what you, I believe, Ms. Norton, you at one time said, they're do the footwork for us. We need to pay attention to what they're doing. So I would appreciate that too. Thank you for your service. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you, Ms. Wood.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Dennis Tatum.
Thank y'all. I just want to say, we got like 15,000 some people in this county. We're bringing a major project here to help on our taxes. Dickie, Daphne, I asked y'all last week, what project could y'all come bring to this county to help us people paying all these taxes, bigger than what I'm bringing? Y'all couldn't give me an answer. I understand. Y'all both might have a handful of people y'all appreciate, and I can appreciate that. But think of 15,000 some people here. And the money it's gonna save this county, and nothing but interest alone. I would like for y'all to rethink your ideals and vote yes for this project, because I think it's very important for the people paying taxes in this county. And that's all I got to say. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I've got Ms. Jennings leaving at recess. Is Ms. Jennings call? Ellen Jennings? Oh, you're here? Okay. You didn't have any check marks. Is this the one that you wanted to speak on?
Yes. I'm not going to be a dead horse about how I'm pro-solar. I just think that would be very good endeavor for the county. As a taxpayer in this county, I don't like to air my business. I'm a proud woman, but I'm a widow on a fixed income. And in the next 5 to 6 years, I'm going to lose my property because I cannot keep up with the tax hikes. So it would benefit me also, as well as this county, and I would appreciate it if y'all took it into account, the taxpayers in this county. There's a lot of folks in this county worse off than I am, and I don't know how we're going to do it. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is it Mr. Robertson?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, that's correct.
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, Board. Good evening. It's been a while since I came to a Board of Supervisors meeting, and I'm speaking on the behalf of Tatum Solar Panels. I was informed that this project will take approximately about 6.5 and 7 years to complete. And once it's completed, once it starts, that will bring some revenue to this county as of getting more jobs for some of the people that are here that are looking for jobs and they can't find jobs and they're getting in trouble and they're building the prisons. The prisons is overrun with people with no jobs because they have nothing to do. And the second part of that, going along with the having something for them to do, I did my research on the people that works in the county. The people that works in the county is right here. It's right here as of Nottoway County Sheriff Department, crew in Burkeville, Blackstone Fire Department, Police Departments. You got small businesses and organizations that's going on, but they can't afford to hire anybody because the revenue is down. Because your people, 80% of your people are going out of this place and going into another place to work, and they're bringing their money back here to live and respect of all due things they have to do are obliged by the county. Well, then you look at the taxpayers' money as they're paying taxes on the land. At the end of the day, the taxes will be going up so high that even if you don't have something like solar panels or anything like that in prospect or in the future for something, people they won't be able to afford their land. They'll have to sell their land only because the taxes have gotten so high and the people are going out of towns and they're moving. This is basically a retirement place, and we need something that's going on for the young and the youth people moving forward. If we don't have jobs, what's going to happen? They're going to leave or they're going to jail. I've seen a whole lot of it. I've been here 66 years. In 40 of those 66 years, I understand and I've seen a lot of things. I worked for this county for 15 years, but I moved on because it wasn't because the money wasn't right. I moved on because I had to increase what I had going on because I could not get the revenue from where I was working at. And if that way, I hate to see the young people that are living here don't have nothing to do. And if you keep something for them to do as a recreational something for them to operate on, you would have less trouble in the county. And with that being said, people, well, a lot of people say, well, I got mine, you got yours to get. Well, that's fine and dandy. And I don't care nothing about the rest of it because I got mine. But you see, I'm also looking for the future. I'm looking at my grandkids, my grandsons, my great-grandchildren and all that. That's the future that I'm looking for, something I can leave. When I leave here, I want them to say, my grandfather, my great-uncle left me something, versus it all went into something else that he couldn't afford it and it was taken away from him. And with that note, I'm just going to close it with a thought of mine. With the solar panels and this coming in here, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. The long run with the questions you all are talking about, yes, that came to mind too. 6 years from today or 10 years from today, who it belongs to and who is going to operate it, whether it's going to operate more for your light bill from $5 to $500 or whatever. Those questions are there. But I'm pretty sure in the future that can be resolved one way or the other. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Stith, or S. Stith?
Is it stiff because he's stiff, or is it stiff his last name?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Collins, Administration Bowman.
Yes, sir.
It give me great honor and a pleasure to be here to voice my opinion for the citizen in Nottoway County. Now, Mr. Robinson, before I had 6 or 7 things written down here to be addressed. But you know, when people go in front of you, they usually take your mouth away, make the word away from you. But I'm concerned about the taxes being here. I know there's a lot of y'all here from the county. I live in the town of Crew. I pay 2 taxes. Town of Crew taxes and Nottoway County taxes. So by these panels coming here, hopefully, and I know it will help us out in the towns, Blackstone, Crew, and Burkeville, all aboard Nottoway County. Now for these jobs, I hauled to these solar panel farm for 6 years. I can show you where they at from Culpeper all the way to Virginia Beach, Hampton, Portsmouth, Fredericksburg, Centerville, Virginia. Those people, when they start working, let's use for example, if Mr. Rourke got 200 acres over there that he wanted to put in pounds. Do y'all know that that be a 1.5-year job, which will employ at least 75 to 80 people? When they finish with that job there, say, I don't look on this paper here, say, John Jenkins, somebody else might be trying to get them. When they move over to the next county, they're gonna ask you, do you want to go? You'll still have a job. And I think it would be nice that we acknowledge to let these panels come here. With this money, we need security at these schools. I mean, these kids, you done seen it across the board on television where these schools with these shootings and all this, that, and the other. Take some of this tax money, and I understood it would be right around 8 to 12 million or something for to have double security in these schools. It's not gonna cost a whole lot. I mean, protect these kids. They are our future. And if we take care of them at a young age, you know, we can lay back at the house and watch television with our hand behind our back and we are safe. But if we don't start somewhere, we can start right here tonight by passing this resolution to get these panels here in Nottoway County started. Another thing for these emergency services, I sit at the house and listen to the scanner at nighttime. With the sheriff department, you can't hear them. But that fire department and these ambulance service, they like this all night long. They gonna need funding. Would these taxes go towards funding them? Sure, keep that going. I got a defibrillator in here. I fall out at the house. When I call them, they gonna be there. And I mean, make sure that they are being compensated what they doing, and make sure that they get the right amount of funding to keep this services going on. The last thing about these kids' recreation, we got parks in Blackstone, got one in Burkeville, one in Crew. We about to shut the one down in Crew up here because nobody wants to run a concession stand or cut the grass over there or whatever. So look what bit of revenue coming in from that park over there. We are leasing it out. Put some money in this county where we can to put a basketball court over there. Ride down my road, make a left turn up there at Bravo's. Ride down my road tomorrow evening about 5 o'clock. I bet you see anywhere from 8 to 10 kids out in the middle of the street bouncing the basketball in the street. Let's get these kids on a basketball court somewhere, baseball field somewhere. Get them involved with stuff. And that way you won't have this 13-year-old, if he ain't got nothing to do, you know what he can do? Right on there and they get in trouble, you're gonna follow the druggie. Next thing you know, the next corner you're telling, well, is that Stanley's grandson right there? He's doing this, taking money. Let's pass these things, panel. Let this be a trial and error for us. At least by us with the board here, I think that y'all does a good job.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's got about 10 seconds remaining in his 5 minutes.
All right, five, pass the panels.
I might add, he's a Crew town councilman also.
Don't tell everything you know of it.
I ain't gonna tell him the rest.
But, please take it in consideration. Take care of our kids. Jobs gonna come here. And this county can be just like any other county. Thank y'all for y'all time.
Thank you,
for your
sir.
thoughts.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well spoken. Robert Hawthorne. This will be our. You gonna waive this one? Yes, sir. All right. Is there anyone else that did not sign up that wishes to speak on this matter? Tatum zoning general business to rural residential. Okay. What's your name?
Hello, everyone. My name's Adam Perry. I'm with the Inn at Blackstone. I would just like to state that we at the Inn, and on behalf of my company, Callion Hospitality, that we are in support of the solar farm. You know, a big part of this town and county is the military traveling. Military travel's down 70% and has been, and we all know, you know, the state of affairs there. So short of war or administration change or something of that nature, that's not going to change. So, you know, please hire local, as you, sir, stated. But there will be specialists needed for some of this stuff, should you pass it, and I hope you do. And hopefully they shop in our shops and they eat in our restaurants and stay in our hotels.
Stay at the local inn.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing on.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we've got 4 items. Do you want to have some discussion between each one? And then I'll leave it to one of y'all if you're going to have a vote. So this is
Well, as I understand it, this hearing was just for rezoning, nothing else.
this is general business to rural residential. That's it.
I had a question that, as I understand it, the planning commission passed this last night.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, why are you thinking about that? Going along with Mr. Stiff's, one of his comments, which was not about this public hearing, in May, we have somebody that's very interested in getting these kids off the street and getting them playing basketball as sports, and so some type of, I don't know, rec coordinator. So you're going to hear a presentation in May, so I want you to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'd read about crew and the ball fields not getting used. And
Right.
That's
None of them are.
not good.
Well, Mr. Chairman, in keeping in line with part of this discussion here is, and of course, the other public hearings are going to bring up some of my concerns about some issues with the Planning Commission last night, but keeping in line with this, I move to approve the rezoning for Dennis Tatum from general business to rural rustic.
Rural residential.
Rural residential, I'm sorry.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? 5-0, Mr. Bowen.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right. This is going to be a second public hearing. This is going to be Tatum Jenkins Public Utilities Panels. Catherine, could you come up with Greg?
It don't look like it's going to hurt.
So Greg, you go ahead and open, and if you could lead Catherine into talking about public utilities and why that's important in rural residential.
Certainly.
Okay.
So this is kind of a follow-up to the previous agenda item about Mr. Tatum, his rezone getting approved. So now we can kick into the using the public utilities on the same 5 parcels I mentioned. They're in your staff report. And that is seeking to use the public utility special exception in the rural residential district to install panels on approximately 217 0.3 acres across 5 parcels, since this property is now zoned rural residential. Now, I'd like to stop and say right now, while we're hearing earlier public comments, I did look through the comprehensive plan, and this is the only zoning district that, for specifically public utilities, where special exception is required. There's no other opportunity throughout the code, throughout the zoning ordinance, that allows public utilities either as a by right or by right of approval of a special exception. Now, we have utility substations and whatnot scattered around in our other zoning districts. So this one was a unique item for us. And we heard this, Mr. Burden had presented us, I believe it was a text amendment in November, December of last year, to pursue, to have this basically, recognized as a permitted use. I think it's inferred, meaning that it's kind of.
Well, that discussion was to name solar. It already says electric.
Right.
And so if you're going to name solar, you'd have to name coal-fired, gas-fired, wind, solar, hydroelectric.
So.
It says electric already.
Right.
Electric.
And a lot of forms of energy produce that electricity. Understood. Okay, Catherine.
So what did you find out? I know they had you doing a little research today about public utilities.
So, in essence, I would agree with Greg that our zoning code essentially encompasses the possibility of solar usage through electricity,
And
like
if you're,
we discussed about.
so if you're a public utility, it's because you deliver power for public use? It's the end user that defines, as Mr. Rourke said, that Walmart sells groceries, it's not a public building, but the public goes there.
Yes, it would be used by the public. It's not a public company.
Right.
One of the maybe various state code definitions defines public utility as any company that owns or operates facilities within the Commonwealth for the generation, transmission, or distribution of electric energy for sale, production, storage, or transmission or distribution.
I think that's pretty clear.
It's very clear.
Correct. So not only does the state code encompass it, which I said in my email, but I believe our zoning code also.
Is the county able to be more restrictive than the state code?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is the county able to be more restrictive than the state code?
So the state code has to.
We have the Dillon rule, I believe?
Yes, it's the Dillon rule, yes.
Okay, so the state code overrules county codes?
Yes.
Just like we had this discussion about setbacks July 1st, we don't get to say.
Correct.
Very similar to the biosolid, as you and I spoke about, Greg.
All right. Thank you. I think that's all we've got. We're going to go ahead and I'll see if I can get a motion to open a hearing. Did you have anything else, Mr. Zodi?
I just want to note, staff had no recommendation, and the planning commission voted 8-0 to deny this.
To deny this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll take a motion to open special exception hearing, Dennis Tatum, Public Utilities for solar panels.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Mr. Abbott. Mr. Thomas. Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Brian Thomas, resident of Crew, and full disclosure, I am part of the Planning Commission. I thank you for allowing me to serve on that board. I'd like to defend our 8-0 denial based on this particular public hearing. What we have to go on is the definitions that we have in our zoning codes. We have a very specific definition for public utilities in our code. And like Mr. Zodi said, the one area that needs to have this in it is rural residential, because it could be affected by public utilities. Our definition specifically says that public utilities is a group of uses which provide essential energy and communication services to the general public. These include but are not limited to electric, natural gas, water, and sewer and telephone companies, their distribution and transmission lines, poles and towers, substations, pumping stations, and storage facilities. This is the point where we differ greatly. We say, by definition, some of these activities are industrial in nature, although local distribution facilities usually are compatible uses in residential areas. That's why we have to specify it in residential areas, rural residential. More importantly, we need to look at our zoning ordinances for solar. We have 4 zones where solar facilities are allowed. A1 agriculture, C1 conservation, LI light industrial, and GI general industrial. Rural residential is not specified in that list. We also have in the zoning ordinances, section 1-3-2, right up the beginning of the ordinance, that says uses not specified are not permitted. No uses are permitted unless included in the list of permitted, permissible, or accessory uses in a district. Solar facilities are not listed in rural residential zones. You know why it isn't in there? Because solar facilities are large, they're vast, they take up a lot of room. When you get that big in a rural residential area, what do you have? You have a ton of adjacent properties. 229. I know that's for the entire project. There's a lot around the agriculture area, but a lot of them are around the residential areas. We specifically kept it out of rural residential for that specific reason. We did not want to impact that many adjacent properties. The reason is the properties are generally very small in rural residential. Out in the agriculture area, you have like a 5-acre minimum
5
or
acres,
something
yeah,
like that.
that's right.
But in a rural residential, it could be as small as 2 acres, I think is the current minimum.
2 acres in conservation.
Okay.
1 acre.
1 acre. You can get 1 acre lots. That's how you can go all the way around this big solar facility and end up with hundreds of adjacent properties. So that's why we left it out, okay? They're trying to get in through the back door, through public utilities. Our definition is very specific that we only look at distribution issues from the public utilities in rural residential, because obviously, at some point, they're gonna need to replace lines, they're gonna need to put in substations to get that electricity to the end users in that zone. Solar facilities, they're sending their electricity to a point of interface to the grid. They don't do anything to the people in that zone, the general public. That's why our specific definition for public utilities is the way it is. We're only addressing distribution facilities, which are usually compatible uses in residential areas. Please look at all of those sections.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's got 10 seconds remaining in his 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
What zoning designation would be suitable for a larger solar project like this?
Most of it's in agriculture. It would probably have passed if it was all in agriculture.
Much of it is in agriculture, not all
Yeah.
of it. Much of it is in agriculture.
Yes, but half of it is in rural residential. We do not allow solar facilities in rural
You know how I
residential.
defined rural residential when I was little? Rural Route 3. What does rural mean? In the country. It ain't in the corporate limit.
So you realize that if you open up this back door, that opens up all rural residential areas in this county.
It does, but it has to, it's still special exception.
Exactly.
We're looking at a case-by-case basis. We're voting case-by-case
This
basis.
was a question, Bo. We're not going to have debate.
But you're
Anybody have any
creating
questions?
a precedence here. So be very, very careful. Okay?
Can I ask Mr. Thomas
Thank you
a
very much.
question?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
If this were changed, would this be referred to as spot zoning?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
since it's rural
That's
residential.
more of a question for Mr. Zodi, isn't it?
Well, both,
Okay.
since he's on the planning commission.
Yeah.
Would this be referred to if these got changed from rural residential to something else, it's spot zoning?
Yeah. Yeah, you could change it to C1 and it'd be allowed, but you're disrupting the rural residential area that's around Crew. You would go directly from the town of Crew into a C1 zone, which takes out rural residential. It disrupts that ring around the zone, so.
Since we asked
you
some
know,
questions,
They could
Mr.
try
Chairman.
to rezone it, but,
Okay, go ahead.
and try again, but
He asked,
we
he
would
asked for
rehear it.
questions.
He asked for questions, and so two citizens wanted me to ask a question specifically to you. Said that they thought perhaps you had made a motion before you heard the public speak during the planning commission.
No,
You
they
don't have to
spoke.
answer that, but that's what they told me they observed.
Had the public hearing, we opened it, we closed it.
But was the motion already set forth before they heard the public speak?
No,
It was not, the motion was not,
opened it and
Okay.
closed the public
okay,
hearing.
good.
Was
Thank
it, was it, somebody came to me too, Mr. Toe.
They said it was written
Was it
beforehand.
written before you listened to the public?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, because.
So you wrote a motion before you
So it was
listened to-
already gonna be the motion before, whatever the public said didn't make no difference. It was gonna be the motion made.
If somebody would have made a really good case against the points that I had.
Then perhaps
I
it would-
probably would not have
Okay.
done the motion, but
All right.
yeah, I
Thank
wrote
you, Mr.
my,
Thomas.
because I
Go on.
wanted to know wanted you guys to know exactly why we did that,
Yep.
what we did.
Thank you,
We
sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wooten, are you gonna come up again, or you're okay? Yeah, I'm gonna give you, like I said, I'm gonna raise your name if you have, you wanna respond to something, that's
I
fine.
had the same question about if it was considered spot zoning, but I asked Mr. Zodi a question about it too, and is it?
As long as so spot zoning was, you want some compatible uses kind of close together to each other. So if you were to say, all right, I'm gonna put general industrial in the middle of ag, then that's a spot zoning, because it's surrounded by a sea of ag. That's a spot. There's other rural residential where it's adjacent to it, I think, coming
But
towards the creek.
If you put industrial solar in
Land
an
speed.
agricultural zone, is that spot zoning?
What we paying for?
Depends on how your ordinance is.
Or your special exception.
The special exceptions in the ordinance allow it in A1.
That's been my complaint ever since the very beginning in 2021. Waivers, exemptions, exceptions, all along, and case-by-case basis. Because when you do case-by-case basis, it makes your solar ordinance and your comprehensive plan, you nullified it.
But it's got a whole lot to do with, Mr. Chairman, it's got a whole lot to do with allowing someone to put a residence on is smaller than required 5 acres on special exception. Family members, stuff like that.
And
That's been done for years.
Totally agree. When you start making exceptions, anything, then we got a problem. Like I said, I don't have any problem with solar whatsoever, as long as you put it in an industrial area, because that's what it is an industrial site. Or if you are gonna do it, follow the guidelines that you have provided. So, and thanks for your information.
Thank you.
Ms. Wood.
Thank you, ma'am.
He was going to answer that question.
Real
Vice-
quickly, real quickly, generally, I mean, from a planning and zoning, or more zoning perspective, it's not spot zoning when you have the flume, the future land use map, indicating this broad area, which is available online and in my office, showing that south side of Robertson Road as being rural residential. C1 is adjacent a little bit to the west, and then you have a little bit of industrial, a little bit closer to the Falls Road. But spot zoning, by definition, if I'm not mistaken, I feel kind of apprehensive about saying this because I'm surrounded by attorneys, but.
So is this considered spot zoning?
No, sir. No, sir, because
Thank you, sir.
the rule of thumb is about a mile.
Thank you. Not spot zoning.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Tatum, are you speaking again?
I don't have anything else to say, I think, you know.
Okay.
I just don't know, like the lady was talking, maybe take the topsoil off these.
Well, our ordinance protects the,
Come up here and start speaking.
If you want to, come on up if you want to.
Yeah, just like Stanley Stick was talking, we halt a lot of these solar projects, and it's just saying we take the solar off the it's topsoil. You need to ride by some of them. They do a nice job.
I think it's site dependent, and our ordinance requires the soil, any disturbed soil to remain on site.
That's right, and you go to them, you go down to Deltaville and different places, I've seen
You may not
these
have to
sites.
grade it, you may not have to grade it all, depending on the,
That's right,
on the
and
site.
I've seen goats, I've seen sheep out there in them. It's just like a field. They don't take the topsoil off the land, they don't do it.
Yep.
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robertson, were you speaking on this one?
I'll pass.
Okay. Mr. Stith? Here we go.
What y'all was, speaking on about this topsoil? What is the berm that you put around these solar farms? 300 foot or something?
It's 75
75?
from the boundary.
But 300 from an occupable dwelling.
Right, so what they does is on these farms, when they goes out there, they gonna pull the topsoil off of it. They take the topsoil and put it on there, 300-foot berm around it, to plant these trees in this shrubbery. So in other words, you're bringing it out of a pasture, which is topsoil, and you're putting it around the 300-foot berm around the whole farm. And that's what gives the trees the ability to grow and not so many of them dying because they're gonna start growing in topsoil. I thought I could add that to you.
I hadn't thought of that. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hawthorne?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, and this is mostly to address John's question earlier before we had our break, to address the Planning Commission's concerns. And I really didn't know how to couch that, but the Planning Commission representative made a great point just now. When asked, was the motion written ahead of time, could it have been changed? He said, yes, if a good case had been made. Well, it sounds like to me, to agree with the Planning Commission's position, you have to agree right off the bat that their legal premise is correct. The position that should have been made was legal counsel. The Planning Commission put a lot of thought into it, but they don't have the benefit of legal counsel. You do. Your legal counsel says otherwise. It says that solar facilities are a public utility. It says rural residential can allow public utilities with special exceptions. Period. Everything else that flows out of the resolution or the motion by the Planning Commission is therefore incorrect. Solar facilities aren't defined by the word industrial any more than they're defined by the word farm. They are not illegally located if they're in rural residential just because other zoning areas specifically allow solar. It is allowed in rural residential. It's allowed for public utilities, which a solar facility is, with special exceptions. Period. The philosophy behind why that is not dictated anywhere in the ordinance. So I think the biggest problem here, the biggest disconnect is the Planning Commission doesn't have the benefit of seasoned legal counsel as you all do and as the developer does, and both of them seem to agree. So that's the only point that I wanted to make, and primarily to address your concerns, John, about the resolution. I think everybody's intentions are well placed. It's just that sometimes the law gets in the way
Right.
of your good intentions.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, our legal counsel, for researching that today. All right, that's the last speaker on Tatum Jenkins Public Utilities panels. Take a motion to close the hearing.
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we've closed the public hearing on this. we got this on Thursday. We had a storm earlier in the year that messed up our schedule. This board had spoken about not receiving things from planning 2 days after the planning hearing. That is what's happened in this case. I feel like I've spent enough time on it to have a good understanding, but I want to make sure that every board member has a good understanding of what we've just gone through. Does anybody have some particular questions? Are you comfortable voting 2 days after planning?
Mr. Chairman,
That's my kind of discussion.
I certainly am.
I have concerns based on several things. Number one, putting it now, as Mr. Thomas said, you now putting in it, you make this exception to put it in rural residential, okay? The next one that comes up wants to be accepted in rural residential also. When are we going to draw the line? When are we going to say no?
When we get to that 1,700 acre cap that we got on it.
170 megawatts.
No, when you get, when the money runs out,
Well,
that's when we're going to say no.
Yeah, well, when the money runs out, so when the money runs out, then the property owner don't have no more rights that wants to put it on his or her property?
Well, suppose we get to that 170 and the property owner wants to
Then
put a big one in.
They should have come on first, because that's the reason we put the cap on it, remember?
We put the cap on it in the,
To meet the comprehensive plan.
in the comprehensive plan. That was put in the comprehensive
percentile
plan
of the
for that
total land in
reason. And we
Nottoway
said
County.
we were not going to produce any more electricity than we produced. I mean, we were not going
So there's
to
your
have
stop,
more produced than what we use.
there's your stop point, 170.
170.
But, Mr. Chairman, just point of clarification, because I see what Dickie's point is. Just, I'm asking because I can't picture, I know that transmission line, but wouldn't that transmission line dictate where solar would go in the future? And is it really close to rural rustic, except in that one area?
Rural residential.
Rural residential, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
13% of the total county acreage is within those two transmission lines that makes it viable
Isn't it within,
No, I'm
within a
saying rural.
mile?
And most of them in my district.
within a mile of both of those transmission lines.
But is it
And
in rural
earlier-
residential?
No, no,
Oh,
now
okay.
that, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just saying
That's what I-
that's the amount that's available within the 1 mile of those two transmission lines. Now, what those 13% of acreage is zoned, I cannot answer that.
Right. But you're right on the 13, I remember that number,
Yeah.
John. But that's what I was just asking, because I know that transmission line, and once it goes over there, it's going on to Burkeville and heading to Prince Edward, but I can't remember.
Well, the other one goes right down here and goes straight to Pickett.
Right, right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add, I agree with Dickie's concern with rural residential, but a bigger concern here is our planning commission, who is a great asset to our board. But as Mr. Hawthorne pointed out, they don't have the legal premise. So should we make some procedural policy changes that we have our attorney available for them to be able to answer questions? This wouldn't have perhaps,
She was there the other night.
was she? Okay.
I was there the other night and I said the same thing, except I did not cite the state code. I did relay our definition of rules.
Okay.
So, but I do not attend every planning
Mr.
commission.
Chairman, while Catherine's there, may I ask, with Mr. Hawthorne shared with us, do you appear to be in agreement with Mr. Hawthorne shared about they may have had a different outcome or different guidance had they had the wherewithal to ask maybe different questions or something? And it was, I guess, long story short, do you agree with what Mr. Hawthorne said in part or in whole?
Yeah, I think generally what Mr. Hawthorne was saying is probably correct. I don't attend, nor does legal counsel attend every planning commission meeting. I think it
Well, I'd
probably.
certainly like the planning commission to have our permission to contact you ahead of time with any questions. And I think the
Absolutely.
board would all.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know, I'm gonna speak for you, Mr. Ingram. I don't think this, and you can ask Brian himself, he'll probably come back up here. Even if a lawyer told him, do you think that's gonna change his mind tonight?
Our lawyer did tell him.
But I mean, be honest, I mean, he'll, if he believes that, he believes that.
I've known him a good while, and I respect his intelligence.
Right.
Here he comes, you did it, Steve.
Y'all want to quit calling people up to the?
I'm sorry, I know, but I'm just, anyway, I'm sorry.
Mr. Thomas, one statement, and then.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. That was out of procedure.
The state says that solar facilities can be a public utility. That's great, but our definition of it is much, much more narrow than that. And that's what we went by.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think most of this goes back to, you know, what can be explained, what can't be explained, what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. I think we've heard that over the years, and
as a reminder, the state's going to decide for us.
that's right, and that's been the concern, because all this arguing neighbor against neighbor, I've said it several times with the previous board, I've said it with this board, it doesn't matter. The state's going to do what they feel like they want to do. It's going to be forced attrition then, and here we are. We need to do something before July 1, whether you say yes or no. And Steve, do we have a rough estimate of how much we may have paid into maybe legal fees and stuff like this over the last 6 years dealing with this?
You know,
just a rough guess. There's nothing I'm gonna hold you to.
I mean, I'm sure it's well with $30,000. It's got to be.
Yeah.
And we haven't got all the invoices because it's not over with yet.
Right.
You're gonna be 3,000 in there.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. It's like to continue on and on. We either need to say yes or we need to say no, and we need to move this thing on. And yes, this board did agree more or less in a case-by-case basis because this is new to us. So the explanations I've heard from our attorneys, Mr. Zodi, in the past 6 years, let's make a decision and get this thing over with.
Going to put that in the form of a motion.
I will. I move to grant the special exception permit for the Tatum project, Rocky Ford project, which conditions set forth in the document entitled applicant's final proposed conditions in the furtherance of the safety, health and welfare and economic prosperity of Nottoway County. And in that motion, I said with the conditions of 25 and 28.
Now, was that written before we had this hearing?
Was it written? I got one more that was written too. You want to hear it? But I don't want to put that in the motion.
What I'm saying to you, that was a big deal, it was written before the motion.
Hey, point of clarification, I agree with Mr. Thomas. He said depending on what was said. I got one more that was written too. Should relate it to this one depending on how they talk.
Excuse me, y'all. That's a good one, Bo.
So that's my motion.
I don't think I understand your motion. Say it again.
You want to say it again? Okay. My motion says that the Dennis Tatum project gets a special exception granted to them with the conditions of 25 and 28, and I can specify those conditions if I need to. And that was written too last Friday, because I read it in its entirety. Hold on.
He said with the conditions.
Mr. Ingram, I still like
With
it.
the conditions, 25.
And those are 25 is modified that the timeline go from 3 years to 5 years and 12. And reason for that is we're not even gonna get all the money till the 5 years. So why would you hold them to a 3-year contract if we ain't finished been getting $8 million up front? This is a motion, not a discussion. Number 28 is the Lazaretta Creek and Crystal Lake protections as condition 28. That's in addition to protect those two waterways.
Where'd you get that from, Bo?
He's made a motion.
I got that from legal counsel that's in our performance and citing agreement.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, I've got a first and a second for discussion. Discuss.
Go ahead, Mr. Ingram. Fire away.
My concern, I've already expressed my concern with starting to put these things in rural residential is going to create a problem.
You've only got 62 megawatts left.
It doesn't matter. We're going to have more coming, I guarantee it. And
chickens are easier to manage in a area that there's more of them in than if you spread them all over the whole farm.
well, how about this project? It's spread all over several miles.
But it ain't over all the whole county. It's just where them transmission lines are that you mentioned.
I know, and that's my district.
I understand. Most of it is.
So, I mean, I'm not going to be able to vote for it to put it in rural residential. I'm sorry. Maybe if it should have changed the zoning to something else that would have made it more palatable to me. But when you say you're going to do it in rural residential, you're opening up the can of worms, and here they come.
I respect that, Mr. Ingram. But my other motion, just so you know, that I previously did was to table it, depending on what the public said.
Bo, can I go back and revisit the 5-year, the extension from 3-year to 5-year? I believe they said to do the 5-year plus 12 months. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Like I said before, what worries me is the landowners that have come forward with this, and they're putting everything on this. And if we miss another opportunity because of these extensions for them,
Well, it was even said by you, I think, how many years, way before I came on the board, it just been discussed. I have searched it thoroughly, probably more so than any other thing that I've done, because it was so important to me as a farmer that derives primarily income from farming, that I wanted to search it out in its entirety. I do not want to make the bad decisions for the citizens that's not getting it, nor the citizens that is getting sold on their farm. That's the reason I feel like I know as much as I do about it, because I've studied it a lot. And is there going to be things that pop up? Yeah. That I had questions? Absolutely. 11 o'clock at night, I write it down so I wouldn't forget what it was the next day, so I can call somebody and get an answer.
I know, I get the text message sometimes.
I know you do. I was just getting ready to say.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've really studied this thing a whole lot. It's not something that I'm not familiarizing myself with, and I've listened to the citizens too. You know, Mr. Ingram, to your respect, sir, I'm in the other end of the county, and so those citizens aren't, now there's a few, aren't quite as concerned as the one that may live 300 foot from the panel. But even then, some of the ones that live 300 foot from in the panel is all for it. And never was it intended to get this upfront money to not to have to raise taxes. It was not to have to raise them as much as potentially could be having to raise them.
So I guess, like I said, my only concern is I don't want the landowners that have made this an opportunity for themselves in the county. I don't want them to hold on to false hope.
You cannot look at the economic developments bringing and the property owners' rights and what it's going to do for Crew and Burkeville and Blackstone and everywhere in between.
And that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. Their rights. I don't want them.
You're concerned about there is an option for an exception, or extension for 12 months.
Yeah, with the extra extension. I mean, all right. So this board will never see a penny. The next board,
that's right,
will never, probably may not ever see a penny. It'll be the board after that. And what is the concern for these landowners that are bringing this forward and making this opportunity? If we keep extending this, are we extending it to where they could potentially lose something? I don't want them to lose these opportunities that they have put everything on here. That's my only that's my only concern here.
So let me bring this up to you guys too, and I'm sure y'all know that, but I want everybody in this room and listening to know it.
Yes, sir.
So payment one is 15%.
Right.
It's 1.2 million.
Right.
Due within 60 days of receiving the PJM. Right. Phase 3 studies requested. Mm-hmm. All right. Payment 2 is 5%. That'll be $400,000. Due within 60 days of the building permit. Payment 3, 30%. 2.4 million, due within 60 days of issuing notice to proceed construction to the contractor.
Right.
Payment 4, 50%. Due in 60 days of the first electricity generated to the grid.
Energized, right.
So some people even thought they was going to get a check for $8 million up front.
Yeah, no.
No, but there's still a grand deal, but it would have been a lot more better had it hadn't been put off a year like it was.
Right.
Because we was at $12 million.
That's right.
$12 million, but we missed the timeline. So there's no way they could fund it then because they missed a huge part of federal money.
That's right. Yeah.
So the further you put it along, the longer you're holding economic growth back for the county, and more you're telling the owners, the landowners, that they don't have the rights they thought they had, that they worked so hard to get the land acquired.
Mr. Chairman, I let my second stand as an affirmative to the motion.
All right, I've got a first and a second. Mr. Bowen, we're going to roll call.
Mr. Chairman, we have a motion on the floor from Mr. Vice Chair Toth and a properly seconded by Mr. Rourke to approve the special exception of Dennis Tatum Public Utilities for solar panel with the conditions of 25 and 28.
Yes,
Did I
sir.
say that right? Before roll call, Mr. Rourke, how do you vote? Yea or nay?
Why you start with me all the time?
Yay. Mr. Ingram, yea or nay?
Nay.
Ms. Norton, yea or nay?
I will say yay due to the legal opinion of our attorneys.
Mr. Vice Chairman Toth, yea or nay?
Yay. I think I'm gonna take
Mr. Chairman Collins, yea or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed 4-1. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I move to open the next public hearing.
All right, this is going to be
Zodi, I wanna ask
special
you a
exception,
question.
John Jenkins Public Utilities for solar panels.
I need to ask him a question. Didn't the planning commission have to move some of Mr. Jenkins' property to rural residential?
Yeah, that's the second one, the rural residential.
Well, I don't see it here, you got public utilities for solar panels.
Yeah, but I listed right below, in the zoning analysis, on the first page, it talks about its the special exception in the rural residential district.
Well, this is a good point, because you separated Mr. Tatum's
Right.
rezoning.
That's an oversight on my part.
Oh.
Was it advertised correctly?
Yes.
I'm 99.9% sure on that. It was advertised.
100%
Ms.
it was
Kelly, can you
advertised.
confirm that?
What I'm saying to you is the planning commission voted separately. Right?
Yeah, well, I set it up to public advertisement because there are different parcels involved in each hearing.
Have we got copies of the advertisement?
Not with me, no, sir.
Hold on, we can get that. So,
Don't you remember voting
So we
separately?
need to have another public, we need to,
I'm sorry, I thought we had 4 public hearings the other night, planning commission. They approved the first one and denied the 3 straight in a row. I don't
That's
remember.
correct. That's
I
correct.
don't remember 5 public hearings.
No, we didn't.
So,
Yeah, we only have 4 public hearings on the agenda for you tonight. The rezoning, Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Tate, and then the overall. So that's 4 public hearings that were
so
advertised.
do we have it wrong written here, special exception, John Jenkins, one? Mr. Zodi, can you go look at the agenda? Or what are you looking at? I'm sorry.
I'm looking at
so
the
he's
staff
already,
report.
he's already got rural residential?
Yeah,
So you don't have to move him from something else?
no, it's,
Okay.
I thought we voted on that.
no,
So you're
all-
voting on him getting the special exception to use public utilities,
Yeah,
which is solar, in rural residential?
yes.
Because it already exists that you can use it.
Yeah, because we have the Jenkins, that's currently right now, there's 2 parcels involved, if I may proceed with the staff report.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Lazaretto Creek, rural residential. Then we have one rural residential at Rocky Ford and the Falls Road. And and that's in the staff report as well. And what he's seeking, the request is to have, again, solar, under panel solar, and that's total 24.11
The question
acres.
is we
He
are
didn't
approved?
need to change, he already had.
It was already in rural residential.
Yes, sir.
Both parcels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is no, okay. All right, continue, Mr. Zodi.
Okay, Mr. Dickey, you're giving me the eye.
I can see where he came from only because of Tatum, and he thought that it need to go from GB to rural residential. He didn't realize all of it. He thought that some of it was not in
Oh, no,
rural
sir.
residential.
No, sir. And it was advertised properly,
think it was
trust
all
me.
jammed.
Okay.
Planning Commission heard it, 9-0, recommendation for denial, 8-0, I'm sorry. 8-0 for denial, and staff gave no recommendation. Okay?
All right, thank you, Mr. Zodi.
You're welcome.
I will take a motion to open the hearing for special exception, John Jenkins Public Utilities for solar panels.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is open. And the first one that I've got is Ms. Wooten. Okay. Mr. Tatum, anything to add? Mr. Robertson, anything to add? I'm good. Okay. Mr. Stith, anything to add? I think I said enough. Mr. Hawthorne, anything to add? You can't help it.
He can't have it.
You're paid by word.
He's got to earn his
Again-
retainer.
Again, to address a couple things that John brought up, I don't admit this in public as much, I mean, I try not to admit it in public, but I've been representing Dennis for 20-some years, and I know he's happy with the arrangement. He understands why the 5 years and 12 months exists is because of the PJM delay. That wouldn't have been a concern 2 years ago, but they have rejuggled how they approve these projects, so you have to have that additional time. Nobody wants that. We don't want that. The
Right.
landowners don't want that.
Okay.
And I've also gotten to know John and Laura Jenkins much better, having represented them throughout this process, and I know they're comfortable with that. So just to put your mind at ease, that's the reason why, and they are
Okay.
comfortable. They understand that.
Thank
great.
you.
Yep.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right, that was the last one on that hearing. I'll take a motion to close John Jenkins Public Utilities for solar panel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing's closed. Board discussion.
You know, I kind of
Same
think it's
topic
it's same topic, it's just a different property owner, and I have to agree with Mr. Ingram on it. When you start opening them up to let these folks do what they want to do with the property that they work so hard to acquire, you just kind of move on through the applicants unless there's a strong difference in the area or the topography, and all that land is pretty well the same up in that area, is it not? I travel down there quite often because we run a farm right down there, so I see a lot.
Well, I think the one you're talking about is going to be on Rocky Ford, right past the intersection with 49, and it is flat land.
Mm-hmm.
But go further up, it ain't flat land.
No, that's why I say it's generally rolling land in that area of the county. That farm that I rent up there, it's a 940-acre parcel. It's got some flat spots on it, but it ain't too many.
There's a lot of rolling hills.
A lot of roads.
I rode through it.
I know that.
Yep. Those cows up there got two shorter legs on one side, so they stand on the hill.
Mr.
you buy
Chairman.
them in
They're the ones you can tip over. They're the ones you can tip over. Bud.
Yes, sir.
Hold the board.
10 o'clock, board. Everybody okay to finish?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please.
We're going to stay over, keep going. All right, so same topic. As I said, I'm not going to lead any motions tonight. I'm not going to ask. If it's up to the board members if you want to call.
I'd like to make a motion, the same motion as I made previously, and that's that we approve the special exception request for public utilities on the Jenkins tax map number 18-116, 29 through 122, with the conditions of 25 and 28 acknowledged.
I've got a first and a second. Mr. Bowen, pull the board.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we got a motion on the floor to approve the special exception for John Jenkins Public Utilities for solar panels with the conditions of 25 and 28. And Mr. Vice Chairman Toth put a motion on the floor and it's properly seconded by Mr. Rourke, and he also put the actual code of Virginia in there. With that said, how do you vote, Mr. Rourke?
A.
Mr. Ingram, yea or nay?
I got to vote nay again because of rural residential.
Ms. Norton, yea or nay?
Yay, same thing, due to
Okay.
our legal opinion.
Mr. Vice Chair Toth?
Yay.
And Mr. Chairman Collins?
Yay.
Mr. Collins, the motion passed 4-1 again.
Okay. G4, special exception Rocky Ford Solar Facility application, including easement parcels. Mr. Zodi?
Planning Commission heard this on Tuesday night, April 23rd. The vote was 8-0 to deny, and staff had no recommendation.
Okay. Board members, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing on Rocky Ford Solar Facility application.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing is open. And we'll start at the top. Mr. Sonny Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Mr. Bowen. Just remember what I said when I stood up here earlier, so no one gets confused. I'd like to know if the siting agreement and the performance agreement have been changed, and are they publicly available?
They're both public available, are they not?
Yeah, they're both public documents.
Yes.
Because the ones that were presented previously obviously have changed, because I heard Mr. Toth quote the $8 million payment over a period of time. That's not in,
That's in the siting agreement.
that's not in the siting agreement.
It is in the siting agreement.
Please reference what page it's on.
I don't have the siting agreement with me. I got it in my truck. Let somebody that wrote it do it, Bill. Let somebody who wrote the siting agreement reference the page.
Mr. Chairman, I believe it's in section 2.1 of the siting agreement, which I don't, in your board package before you tonight, that's page 64 and 65. I don't have the exact number in the agreement, but the those numbers in the agreement are
I've got 6 different things.
I do too.
241 doesn't exist in my package.
You must have got the
2.4
one
does.
that was a couple of years ago.
Pardon?
You didn't get the revised one? That one's a couple of years old? When did you get that?
Dated February 27th.
I made that change, if I could interrupt. Because Mr. Burton pointed it out.
Article 2.1, page 150.
There's not 150 pages here.
Here you go.
That would have been nice to have this before this public hearing.
Only if I knew you didn't have it, because that's the reason you called me on a few things, ain't it?
Performance agreement.
103 in your packet, page 103. Here you go, Mr.
That's okay. We keep changing stuff, so. you
So
know.
they just giving him all the information he's had. That's wonderful.
So, then you just be able to nod your heads, right, on the questions that I ask. As I mentioned, the chair asked me to go through the package. I did. I provided him about 1 3/4 pages of notes. In the document, they tell us that we're going to, it's called revenue share, I believe. We're going to give them, I think the number that's been quoted is $140,000 annually.
They reference a grant. That's how they,
Well,
the speech.
yeah, but
terminology.
that grant is skirting the law, and I'm not sure we want to get into that yet tonight. At least that's what the voice said on the telephone when we had the last meeting. That $140,000 changes to $154,000 on July 1st. You're all aware of that, right?
Every 5 years.
Well, then it changes again in 5 years
Correct.
to $169,400, and then in another 5 years and so on. And clearly it states in there that that's the revenue share that goes back to the developer.
Correct.
So that's north of $3.5 million. Can any one of you tell me what since a solar panel is personal property, what is the personal property rate for a solar panel, installed solar panel?
There is no personal property rate for an installed solar panel.
So we don't know how much money we're giving them back on that.
The state took that away in 2020.
The state says you can't charge it?
That's why you get revenue share.
Yeah, the
You don't get
tools
bill-
and
you don't
machinery
get-
tax
you don't
goes
get-
away.
You don't get tools and materials on solar panels. They took
It's
it
like a
away.
lease. It's like a lease.
They took it away.
It is a lease, in fact.
Now, you recognize that the code that was quoted earlier on the rural residential, that obviously needs to be changed, right? Because you've changed it here tonight, and apparently it doesn't comport with the law, or the Code of Virginia, or whatever they were quoting earlier. And you're the body that keeps the code of, or those articles up to date, right?
Yes, sir.
At least that's what I thought was part of what you do, but that apparently didn't get done. Now, the developer complains material compliance with the law. Material compliance. Does that mean they're complying with the law or close to it?
Material compliance?
Yeah,
For the most part, I believe that you could say that, for the most
for
part.
the most part, so they,
Well, I would be looking for that, I'd be wanting to define material.
what,
Then that'll give you an answer.
I'm just quoting what was in a package.
Okay.
I didn't make up the word, I didn't make up the term. Material compliance with the law. Now, I question that because of the term that was given by the voice on the phone to the last meeting that said they were skirting the law. Now, I don't know if they were skirting it for them or skirting it for the county.
The gentleman's got about 35 seconds left to finish.
Someone says skirting the law. Well, I'll not take up those 35 seconds, other than to say, you already know how you're gonna vote, so it doesn't make a whole lot of never mind. But the folks that are sitting,
I don't like your thoughts on that.
are
I
sitting-
had several discussions today where I didn't know we were gonna vote or how I was gonna vote. And I think my fellow board members know that I had.
I know you wasn't intending on
we'll see
voting.
how that turns out. Folks sitting behind me should know that the money that we're gonna generate from this solar facility will only benefit the fact that we're going to use those funds, I believe, to bring down the cost of the courthouse.
The court-ordered courthouse.
Yeah, the court-ordered courthouse.
It's all the same pot, Mr. Abbott.
Well, it may be, but it may not be. But when you use all of that money to pay down the courthouse, there will be a tax increase to pay that annual revenue share for the next 25 years. Has to be, unless you reduce the budget by let's call it $150,000+. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas?
I'll be brief this time.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, we appreciate you coming up again.
As you know, the Planning Commission used the logic that since the first two that we denied made the third one irrelevant to us because it's half of the project. And so we couldn't go forward on making an approval of that because we denied half of the project in previous motions. But anyway, I'm going to speak to you now as just a normal citizen of the county of Nottoway, and that's going to be more prophetic than you may know soon. I'm echoing exactly what Mr. Abbott just said. I know some of you up there had preconceived notions coming into this meeting, and nothing was going to change your mind on this, and so there's really no reason to belabor the point. So you guys go ahead. You've already totally ignored our zoning ordinances, and so you've opened the back door into rural residential, so might as well go ahead and approve the whole thing. I think my wife and I are probably going to be voting with our feet as well. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.
John Davis? Good evening, Mr. Davis.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Administrator and Board.
Good evening.
I spoke to you in the first meeting that was canceled, and to introduce myself again, I'm the director of the Virginia State Beekeepers Master Beekeeping Program. I started keeping bees when I was 16 years old, and I'm kind of old as dirt at this point. I want to commend the board for being informed and taking into a lot of things into consideration. I also want to commend the folks of the county I did not hear a lot of not in my backyard comments about solar. In this case, you guys are looking progressively forward at improving the tax base of the county and making some decisions that are necessary to help to finance the things that are needed to be done. I also wanted to say that, again, what the group is doing is going to have positive effects for a lot of people, although it's a little hard to put monetary value on some of these things. The project includes the plantings that were talked about to be used as grazing property for sheep in this area. It's one of the things that, you know, as a farmer, it's very hard to increase the size of your farm because it takes a lot of capital to buy the land. So this project includes the opportunity for shepherds and folks that need extra space to graze their cattle, or their sheep rather, and to improve their financial status and help other folks in the county. By putting bees on the property, the pollination services that are provided from that location benefit farmers and backyard gardeners and people that need things pollinated for a 5-mile radius around that property. So keeping that agricultural thought process in this type of a development is something that is very positive in this particular project. The topsoil is not being scraped off and moved and taken away. As you said, it has to stay on the property. So the plants that will grow are native plants that are there for grazing, for pollination, not to make so much honey for a beekeeper that is on there. 200 acres is not a hell of a lot. But when you start talking about the benefits of the folks that are in a 5-mile radius that have got gardens and other things, the way the bees fly, that's a 3-mile radius is over 30,000 acres. So these types of projects scoped in this way have a very positive effect on the ecology. And it's like I say, I want to commend you all and commend the folks in the county for not taking the not in my backyard view. You had a question, Mr. Ingram, about where other people had turned this project or a project similar to this down. I heard the folks in Dinwiddie speak with a lot of misinformation about solar projects, all to the purpose of to keep their current agricultural rural status exactly as it is. The Board of Supervisors in that case chose to make a financial decision to keep property zoned in an agricultural use that over the life of the project has a tax revenue of about $87,000 plus or minus. The project would have brought about $5 million into the county. So that short-sighted view I thought was very unfortunate. What I wanted to do again is commend you all for looking at the overall picture. I'm not good at the legal aspects, but I am proud to listen to you all and make decisions that are beneficial for the folks here in Nottoway.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Wood? Mr. Jennings, Milton Ray Jennings?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This solar is gonna help me and my sister-in-law. We're gonna start a goji berry farm. Ain't nothing Virginia about that. And hopefully, the money we get from that, we can invest and it'll grow. Year after year, we'll put a little bit more in it. With land they don't leave, hey, if they can't use it, I'm gonna use it. You know, I can clear a quarter of an acre on my land. I don't need no permits. But I do have a friend, he got a land disturbance permits. I can bring in, I can stair step, you know, I know how to do it all. I've been in construction for 20 years. So that's all I have to say.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings. Mr. Tatum? Anything further? All right. Mr. Robertson, anything further? All right. Ma'am, I see your hand up. Did you? You didn't have your name on the list? Okay, we'll get right back to you. Let me get through my list, and then we'll pick you up. Okay? Mr. Stiff?
Do I start that time, Mr. Chairman, when they start walking up or when they get up to the podium?
When they get to the podium, I think it's fair.
I was just clarification.
I'm back again. Look, I've got a question I want to ask.
Nice pitch.
For the people that are bordering Mr. Tatum's solar farm, how do they go at? Some of them got 40, 50, 60 acres in there. You know what y'all are calling that, what you call rural residents? How do we go at letting these people be able to put the panels on their farm? Do they have to fill out an application, or do they get in touch with this young lady here?
This young lady right here?
How do they do that?
You have my card, right?
Yeah. Right. No, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stiff.
I don't mind coming down here with y'all. Y'all do something about these seats. When we get this money, we can put some pads in these seats.
I've heard that a lot. His seat's all.
Mr. Hawthorne?
Unless Beverly wanted me to read.
I do, yeah.
You do want that? All right,
Do you think I shouldn't have that? No, I can't read it, so, yeah, I can do it,
She's
but I
asked
can't.
that I read for her. I don't have anything additional.
That would be, you can present it to the board and I'll read it, or if you want to read it, either one.
We give it a shot.
Okay?
If it's gets hard to read, you don't know what it's like to get older.
I don't know what it's like. You talk for yourself.
That's it. I was talking to Bill. I know you're older.
Younger than that.
All right, this is Ms. Amm's statement to the board. Thank you all for allowing me to address you tonight. I would like to readdress some issues I brought up at the public hearing at the work session. Your predecessors left you with a large amount of expensive problems to fix. They did not look to the future of the county and ways to build a financial reserve to enable future boards to be able to address these needs without additional taxation to the citizens. They had properties that could have and should have generated additional revenues to the county without having to sell property and evict businesses and people living in certain areas of the Pickett Park property. Small renovations and restorations over time and beautification and updates to buildings out there could have been made to the property, to this property. Could have made this property not only sustainable but profitable. It is the choices you as a board make now that can and must change the direction of the county. It's kind of, fades gets kind of light. No, I get it. All right. Let us look at the financial benefits of solar and newest research and development in this venue. 10 years ago, the majority of the large, bulky solar panels were being manufactured in China and other third world countries. The safety factors were of necessity being addressed, and the building standards were not always the best. Over the past few years, these problems and design issues are being continually researched, developed, and problems are being corrected in positive ways. The so-called destruction of natural resources, timber, and agricultural lands are becoming better wildlife habitats, safer water, and mixed usage with the use of pollinators, small growth fruits and vegetables, and livestock grazing in panel areas that will improve the soil under panels at the time of decommissioning. The future of the county can be positive with better educational offerings, solar education programs that will hopefully keep our veterans in the area, keep our veterans in the area, and school students, and give school students the opportunity to higher salaries and job security that will keep them in the area. Improved health care, better
Industry.
better industry, it's just so light. Better industry and more retail. Everyone seems so afraid that bringing solar in will harm Nottoway County, or will turn Nottoway County into another Chesterfield or Northern Virginia. I have seen that in the state of North Carolina. They have been able to grow their towns and still manage their rural bucolic feel. The state continues, meaning North Carolina, continues to grow and benefit from the financial benefits from solar. What must we in rural Virginia, why must we in rural Virginia stagnate and die for the few who feel solar and future growth in their communities is dangerous and uncontrollable? Were they hoping for the future of their families? I understand that we are nearing our ordinance limit with solar production. I also understand that the board would like to see how the newly approved projects before them
Any changes?
Before making any changes. Do you understand that the approved projects must still undergo multiple state and federal approval processes before they can occur? Like I'm going to paraphrase what I'm trying to say here. It is the solar projects.
I thought he was trying to be slow to charge you more money.
I'll be real quick. I know my time's running out, but as Bobby pointed out earlier, solar projects. This is kind of the biggest hurdle that they encounter. It's the biggest risk point. After that, there are multiple, as you all know, state and federal hurdles that they will still have to get over, and that it takes a long time to get these things online. I think what Beverly wants to say is that don't close this is kind of the next chapter in the future. Don't close the door to potential future projects because you know how long it takes, and let's leave other boards or future boards free to explore the possibility of putting in additional solar projects that can
I'll
assist
speak to
Nottoway
that.
County.
So in our comprehensive plan, it talked about Nottoway not generating more power than it used. So that 170 megawatts came from Dominion Power, and that's what we used, because that's the power company.
Yes,
They told
sir.
us this is what you use. The other thought that the board had was because we did, our first solar ordinance was effectively a ban. And so we said, all right, we've got this court order coming, we've got a problem. And so we thought to cap it, to see how the developers do. And if the projects go okay, and there's, I saw water quality problems down in my Sussex, down around my home farm. And that's where we are on that. That was the reason. It matched our comprehensive plan, and we wanted to see if the developers were successful with not getting fined by DEQ and not creating problems.
That makes perfect sense to me.
That was why it's there.
On a personal note, it's been a long haul, but this has nothing to do with solar. But I've really enjoyed getting to know the opponents and proponents of solar through my contact with Nottoway County. John, thank you for your passion. Dickie, for your convictions and your steadfastness.
Yes.
Steve, for your resiliency. You're still here. I think you were the only one when this issue first started. I don't think John had got on the board yet.
Right.
But Nottoway kind of put the brakes on it. Bill, thank you for your intellect and your conscientious transparency. Bo, I'll get back to you. Thank you for your diligence and for your tolerance of all of the rest of us.
Bo will be okay.
And
I went to the
Bo,
auction yesterday.
That's right. I thank Bo for your down-to-earth common man sense and perspective. So I thank you all for
Thank you for talking.
suffering me
Yep.
all these years, and I admire all of you, and you've
We appreciate any man speaking all four public hearings.
you addressed Nottoway County when it had some
Tammy,
serious challenges. Thank
Tammy
you.
Holler. Tammy Holler. Oh, okay, here we go. Ma'am, what's your name in the back?
Yes, I just want to say, I have a property, a small farm right down the road here, and this solar project will give me the opportunity to be able to expand my flock of sheep. And right now, most of them's being grazed over in another county. And if, if all works out and we can actually expand, it'll allow us to hire people here in Nottoway County to help us take care of them and help manage.
So you'll be bringing your flock back?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we're having, in looking at it from a soil health prospect, by having livestock there grazing, it's going to help with the soil fertility. So a lot of these solar projects, they come in, they lime it, they fertilize it, and plant it whenever they put the site in, then they have trouble with them dying off. Having livestock on their grazing, having these sheep there grazing, it's going to help maintain that soil fertility, and over time it's going to improve it, that they'll be able to maintain that vegetative cover that's required to help, your water concern issues. So that's all I had
Well,
to say.
that's an interesting thing,
Very
that you were outside of our county and now we're working on this.
Yeah, I mean, we got the small farm here in Nottoway, but, we're having to graze it, like say, in other counties. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I was laughing, I was sitting here thinking it's like, there's one of the blessings, unheard, it's just.
I hadn't thought of that
Yeah.
somebody was going somewhere else, and now they can come back. Ms. Rather, this is going to be our last speaker. Is there anyone else that was not on the list?
Well, Steve ain't said.
Somebody else, there's a gentleman there that, Rick.
What's your name, sir?
Brian Fox. Right after her.
Good evening, and I want
Evening,
to
Travis.
thank the board for permitting me to speak without my name being on the list. Thank you. I just want to briefly bring up my concern here concerning the N.W. Rocky Ford LLC, and it pertains to Mr. Jenkins and his agricultural area. Two things. I'm not anti-solar, and neither am I anti-land users can use what they want to do with their property. And this is almost, to me, like a family thing, because Laura and John Jenkins and the Rather family, we always lived in the same area, and my family has worked for John for decades. And way back, my grandfather and his parents were like, each one used the property for certain things, okay? So it's not an argumentative thing, but I just realized that some of these parcels that are here in the agricultural section, it's like when I open my front door and walk out, this is what I'm going to be looking at, and which I'm not very, pleased with. This is not what I would like to be doing, okay? So I don't know how all of this could work out, or the consideration of my neighbors to Jenkins, but if some of these parcels, especially the pasture that's across the road from where I live, could be reconsidered, I would appreciate it. And I don't know, as I said, what my neighbors Jenkins' thoughts are, neither the board's thoughts are at this particular time, because I know that you want to vote and move forward in this project, or whether this is an issue that could come in later and be legal within what your decision will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Rather.
Ms. Rather.
Brian Fox. Last call.
Last call. Any related to Red Fox?
That's the main.
Well, thank you. I'm Brian Fox, and just to a prior point, I was moved to speak very quickly on behalf of Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy, which is a national network of thousands of chambers of commerce, economic developers, and small businesses advocating for energy from an economic standpoint. We are excited to support this project and look forward to providing resources and experiences from other communities to the Blackstone Chamber and local government to make sure that the local impact of this new infrastructure and tax revenue continues to be maximized throughout the course of the project. The approval of the siting agreement is an important milestone that lays a strong foundation for maximizing the project's local investment, and we'll look forward to staying in touch. Thank you for your service and everyone for your time.
Do you have Mr. Zodi's contact information?
Thank you, sir.
Good point.
I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Did you want to speak?
Oh,
No, come on up. We'll put you back on that. We ain't closed it. Come on.
I called your name, I thought.
What was the last name?
That's Mr. Ronald Oliver.
Oh, Mr. Oliver.
You might want to ask Mr. Roy.
Oh, you didn't put a check mark. But we're not gonna hold it against you.
Up here and put my name up here right quick.
I'm not gonna hold it against you for not putting a check mark.
Okay.
Motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Oliver.
How y'all doing this evening? It's
Good.
late, so I'll be brief. I just had, excuse me. I just had a comment I'm totally with everything. I want to see this county progress. But I like to know that the funds are going to be used in a way to help us all. I hate them taxes. I don't know why y'all still holding on to them, keep on bringing them up. You need to do something about that. There are other ways, I know there are other ways that we can generate money, excuse me, I'm a voice, so that we can move forward with the future production of our county. I want to say to Amplifor and Mr. Tatum, when you first thought about this, I wish you'd have got in contact with the rest of your adjoining land, with your neighbors. Talk about this thing before we went to the county. Then we would have been a strong union on this situation. But that's why
Address the board,
mixed
Mr. Oliver.
emotions.
Mr. Oliver, address the board.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
My head was swivel. And that's what I got to say about this. And therefore, the project would have we would have been a lot further than we are right now with this project. But it's just me. Good luck. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry I missed your check mark there.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver.
Has everybody spoken that wishes to speak on this matter? I'll take a motion.
So
Close the
moved.
public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Board discussion. Rocky Ford Solar Facility application, including easement parcel.
As Mr. Thomas stated, you know, that's kind of part of it. Otherwise, without capturing this one, the rest of them can't work. But I think it's somebody else to make a motion when it comes time, if they choose to do so, because that's my wish. That's because why? What'd say he or she?
In other words, you made all the other motions and.
It's somebody else's turn, man.
Take some weight.
Somebody, Mr. Ingram, what do you think?
I move to deny.
You can, it's a roll call, so anybody can make the motion, and then you can vote either way. We learned that.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Not have me making a motion.
Thank you respectfully, sir.
Well, for point of order, Mr. Chairman, he did say he moves to deny, so I'd say just to follow procedures here,
Yep.
call for a
Do
second.
I have a second? Hearing none, the motion died.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the special exception of Rocky Ford solar facility application, including easement parcels.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Mr. Bowen?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Rourke and properly seconded by Vice Chairman Toth to approve the special exception Rocky Ford solar facility application, including easement parcels. With that said, Mr. Rourke, how do you vote, yea or nay?
Yeah.
I'm in the motion.
Wait.
Right.
Can I amend the motion?
Excuse me.
Yep. 20.
Oh,
with
I'm sorry.
Conditions of 25 and 28 being included.
You want to, so you include, would you include the motion with 20, with?
Yes, sir, to add the exemption.
With conditions 25 and 28?
25 and 28, yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, we got an amendment to that first motion to include the conditions of 25, 28. Mr. Rourke, how do you vote, yea or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Ingram, yea or nay?
Nay.
Ms. Norton, yea or nay?
Nay.
Mr. Vice Chair Toth, yea or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Chairman Collins, yea or nay?
Yay.
Mr. Collins, the motion was approved by a vote of 3-2. Mr. Collins, I know you're getting ready to go into comments with the members of the board, but one thing about this public hearing, I've learned a lot as a county administrator. I would ask permission from the board to go ahead and send our zoning ordinance to legal to assure it is in line with the Code of Virginia coming July 1st.
Absolutely. Do you need that in a motion?
I just
Okay.
know that we've mentioned about legal expenses, but we're gonna need it.
This is where you got to spend it.
And see, this is another thing, just for clarification, that comes off of their initial money that they obtained submitted the application fee.
application.
That's right. Which was about about $147,000, right? It was over 100,000. There you go.
Do you have that money?
I don't know.
What I'm saying.
You
don't have that money yet.
There's going to be an accounting.
Right.
All right, so thank you to everyone who came and spoke. But Mr. Toth, comments from members of the board.
It's been a long process that kept me up a whole lot, but I enjoyed working on it and enjoyed talking to the citizens about it throughout the whole entire time. And it's a little bit late, so legal counsel, the clocks are ticking at the expense of Ampliform, and we don't want to use all that money up. We need it for something else. That's it.
Mr. Ingram?
I hope everybody understands why I voted. This has been, you're talking about staying up and waking up in the middle of the night thinking about things. And people getting in touch with me and getting petitions signed and all that stuff in my district, which just happens to be the third one in my district. I voted for one in my district because I trusted the person that presented the application and the way it was explained. And I feel like we've opened up a can of worms with the rural residential. I think it's going to come back to haunt us pretty soon. And I've said all along, I don't oppose solar. I'm not opposed solar. I'm pro-neighbor. And when Ms. Rather came up and said what she said, that's exactly what I was talking about. And then Mr. Oliver said, if y'all had talked to them, the adjoining landowners before this, you might have had more support for it. So that's my real concern, and that's what I've been going on all along. Y'all know what I've been saying all along.
Mr. Rourke?
Mr. Chairman, there ain't nothing that I could say or add to this that won't be twisted, kicked, spit on, or anything else on Facebook and when the Courier Record reports it. So to that, thank everybody. God bless you all, and just be kind and vote with facts and not feelings. And I'm not talking about this board. When I say vote, I meant make it, when you say something, make sure it's factual and not with feelings. Stop this partisan garbage that's out there. And, this job is hard enough. All this fighting and everything that we've had laid in front of us, this board will never see the end of any of this work that we've put forward tonight and previously come to fruition, and the next board won't either. It'll be the second board from this one before you see anything. Then what will they do with the money? That's where the public needs to come back up here. When that money hits in, that's when the public needs to be back in here. It won't be with this board. Y'all have a wonderful night. Drive safely.
Supervisor Norton, how did you take a vote?
Yeah, I said over here.
Yeah, you were first.
It boils down to legal opinions versus personal opinions, and all along I've listened to the citizens. This project's in my district too, and the majority of the people in this project, and they don't want it. Now, I voted yes tonight on a couple of things because of the legal opinion. But my personal opinion, I think it's a bad project. I appreciate Ampliform going to bat and building all these extra things to deal with the water with Lazaretta Creek, because it's a big concern. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to be a big problem at the end of it. But we won't see it. I won't see it. The money, yes, it'd be great to have the money. But to answer, and I don't think he's here, Sonny Abbott's question, we do have other options. There are other solar projects coming in better areas. Smaller ones are good. We've got a bigger one applying, but we'll get the cap. But we have to listen to the legal opinions. We have to listen to the people's personal opinions. I wouldn't want to wake up and open my door of my house that I built and worked my butt off for and have to look at this crap. But I've tried to listen to everybody. At the end of the day, to me, it's not about the money. And I'm on a finance committee. I can't tell you where the money's going to come from. We got to come up with some things. But we can't chase the money trail like all these other counties are doing. God bless you. It's going to be a long road.
Chairman Collins,
Yes, sir, Mr. Toth.
you want to go with your closing comments, sir, so we can adjourn this thing?
I would. I appreciate everybody came out. This, of course, was kind of a special meeting just for the public hearings, and almost a full room. Thank you. I never want to make decisions and look at one person sitting on those benches. So thank you for everybody who spoke. Everybody was very polite. Everybody shared their opinions. There were some differing opinions, and I think we tried to educate ourselves as best we could before the board voted, and that is important to me to understand. But I was serious. When John called me last night, I said, I don't know if I'm going to vote. I'm not
What
gonna vote."
time was that, by the way? It was after 9 o'clock before we.
It was like 9.
That's right.
And so I spent some time today learning, talked to everybody, and just thank you for coming out, and know that this was not made lightly.
At all.
And it's going to help us with the county. Appreciate it. With that, I'll take a motion.
Yes. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, stand up. Take your mics off.